appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabroods. 1. There's still time for Gabroods to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabroods are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabroods has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabroods, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabroods.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento. Sacktown. And welcome in.
Grant Napear.
How you been? You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
Good afternoon, everybody. What a busy Thursday. We start in the National Football League. Seahawks and Rams from Seattle. Both teams are 11 up and 3 down. Rams winning the earlier meeting between the two teams with Sam Darnold getting picked off 4 times. Even with that said, the Seahawks still had a chance at the end. So this should be a good game. I don't like the fact that it's on a Thursday. I don't think the NFL should have divisional games on Thursdays, particularly in December. I'm not a fan of that, but it is what it is. So we're going to talk a lot about that game. Chris Landry is going to be coming up at 4 o'clock. We'll talk about the college football playoffs that get underway this weekend. And, of course, this game with the Rams and the Seahawks. I did a rant on this yesterday as it relates to Puka Nacua, the star wide receiver for the Rams. To say the least, this has not been a good week for the star receiver. He goes on a live stream and makes asinine comments about NFL officials. And then also on that same live stream, he performed a gesture that was anti-Semitic in nature and perpetuated harmful stereotypes against Jewish people. So hours before the game today, Nacua comes out with this statement and said, "I deeply apologize to anyone who was offended by my actions, as I do not stand for any form of racism, bigotry, or hate of another group of people." Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know Puka Nacua. I've never talked to him. I've never met him. I have heard that he's very naive, that he's a very freewheeling type of a guy, and that he's just totally unaware of a lot of things. With that said, he probably shouldn't be going on live streams and doing social media, such as live streams. Probably should stay away from that. Of course, the NFL has to come out and make their obligatory statement, quote, the NFL strongly condemns all forms of discrimination and derogatory behavior directed towards any group or individual, which is surprising to me, to be honest with you, that they would say that. The continuing rise of anti-Semitism must be addressed across the world, and the NFL will continue to stand with our partners in this fight. Hatred has no place in our sport or society. That's pretty interesting because 5 years ago, when Deshaun Jackson, then of the Philadelphia Eagles, made just hideous, just awful anti-Semitic remarks, the NFL basically stood in the corner, and now all of a sudden they're going to tell me that they strongly condemn all forms of discrimination. You know, I'm sure that's true, but they don't back it up with their actions, because the only thing I see with the NFL is end racism. I don't see anything on the NFL field that says end anti-Semitism. I don't see that. I've never seen that. So is the NFL just coming out and making a statement because it's politically correct and they want to look good? The Rams, of course, came out today. They made a statement, quote, there is no place in this world for anti-Semitism, as well as other forms of prejudice or hostility towards the Jewish people and people of any religion, ethnicity, or race. Amen. But, I mean, the NFL is a joke with this stuff. Now, I'm going to go back because I think this is an important topic. So bear with me for a minute. I believe Puka Nacua, and I don't know him. Okay? I believe him because he said he had, at the time, that he had no idea of the nature of the gesture, which, again, has been associated with anti-Semitic themes. I believe him. I believe that. I believe had he known that, it wouldn't have happened. Okay? I 100% believe him. And the reason why I believe him is because a similar thing happened to former NBA player Myers Leonard 5 years ago when he was live streaming a video game and yelled out a word that was a degrading word for Jews, and it was clearly anti-Semitic. And he came out and he apologized and also said he had no idea what the meaning of that word was. And so I wanted to put that to the test. By the way, he was blackballed from the league. He was suspended, then traded, then waived. He was basically blackballed from the league for that. Okay? He was blackballed. Look it up. So I was like, I had heard the word, but I was curious. And by the way, this is when he was with the Miami Heat. And I was living in Miami. Maybe it was about 5 years ago. So I'm in Miami. I'm living in Miami. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to find out whether people know what this word means. So I talked about this on my podcast at length. I went to the restaurant in an area where I live, and I'm sitting at the bar having dinner with two friends, and then the bartender, who was from South America, my friend virtually African-American, and one other individual. So I said, I've got a question. So we're talking about three people, three different ethnicities, or three different, well, yeah, I guess it would be three different ethnic backgrounds, different generations. And I said, do you know what this word means? And the bartender said, what? And I said the word, and then I said to virtually African-American, 25 years younger than me. I said, this word, have you heard this word? She goes, what is that? And then the other individual said to me, I think I've heard that word, but I don't remember. So I had three individuals, all with different backgrounds, different generations, two American, one South American. They didn't know what the word meant. They didn't hear of it. So I believe Myers Leonard when he said he didn't know the meaning of the word. I believe that. Sometimes you use words and you really don't know you don't understand the meaning of the words. But in this case, and again, I don't know anything about Nakua, but I have heard that he's very naive. He's a very free spirit, freewheeling. Probably should stay off social media. That would be my advice. But I'm tired of the NFL with their just absurd statements. The NFL strongly condemns all forms of discrimination and derogatory behavior directed towards any group or individual. Really? It seems to me you only care about one group of people. That's what it appears to me. Based on your messaging and based on your public statements over the years, I'm sorry, your actions and your words are hollow to me. Shame on you, NFL. Shame on you. Shame on you. If you really want to be a multi-billion-dollar leader in sports, which you are, if you really want to difference in the world, okay, then do it. Stop with these absurd statements when a situation like today comes up. All right? You're only trying to defend yourself from any criticism from a political correctness perspective. That's it. Somebody say, Grant, regarding the Nakua situation, it seems Nakua was having fun with a well-known Jewish streamer. They were having fun together. It's way overblown. Listen, I'm not saying it's overblown or not overblown. I do believe Nakua when he said that he meant no harm and had no idea that it was anti-Semitic in nature. I believe him 100%. All right? I believe him 100%. But you can't say that they're having fun together when if that happened, it had anything to do with racism, with white versus black, black versus white. Okay, you know and I know exactly what would have happened. Nakua would not be playing tonight. You know that. I know that. All right? And I've talked about this for years. And I've always quoted Mitch Albom of the Detroit Free Press. I've always talked about that after the situation with Deshaun Jackson. We cannot be selective with our noise, not against hate. Basically, what that means is hate is hate. You don't turn your head because that hate doesn't necessarily bother you as much as the other hate. Again, let me repeat. We cannot be selective with our noise, not against hate. So it's been a bad week for Nakua as they're getting ready for the biggest game of the year. And again, I believe that he had no idea that the gesture was offensive. I believe him. And I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill here. What I'm saying is he needs to stay off social media because he's already proven this week that he's not capable of handling it. That's what this week tells me. If I'm Nakua, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm saying, you know what? I have to change how I handle myself off the football field. Because you can't go on a live stream and rip the officials and say they just like to be on TV and then have fun with a dance that ends up offending some people, and in this case, I would think the Jewish population of this country and around the world, assuming they are offended. I don't know. Okay? I didn't see it. I don't know. I'm only going by what I'm reading in the story. But it's not the way you want to get ready for a huge football game and Puka Nakua. So I did want to talk about that. I'm so tired of the NFL's nonsense. I'm just so tired of it. I'm just so tired of their nonsense. They have their head in the sand. It's all about politics. It's all about being politically correct. It's all nonsense. I've said this for years and years and years and years. When you bring politics and these type of issues into sports, you're going to have a lot of problems. And I've said this now for many years. Get the crap off your helmets, okay? Stop with the nonsense. Stop with the choose love. Stop hate. Black Lives Matter. Get that nonsense off your helmets. It doesn't belong on the football field. It doesn't belong on the helmets. Get it off the helmets. Stop with the nonsense. Stop with the nonsense. It is just a joke. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. The social messaging in the National Football League is a joke. It's embarrassing. And they're the only league that still does it. and they jam it down your throat, and they put it on the field as if, look at us, look at us, look at us. Choose love. And then on opening night, you have a defensive lineman spitting at a quarterback of the other team. Carter, Prescott, before the game even starts. Choose love. Hawk. I mean, we can go on and on and on. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Tonight's game, though, is not a joke. It's the real deal. It's it's a playoff game in the middle of December for all intents and purposes. The only difference is the loser doesn't have to go home. They'll still be in the playoffs. That's it. It's going to be a fun game. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Kings tonight at Portland, 7 o'clock start. Sacramento, 6-20. No Zach LaVine. Still no Sabonis. Don't know about Dennis Schroeder yet. We're going to talk to Chad Doing up in Portland, radio host up there at 5 o'clock. And we will check in on what's going on with the Blazers and what the mood is up there after everything that happened several weeks ago with Chauncey Billups. So that's coming up at 5 o'clock. Your phone calls, your messages from the 916. It makes sense now why they have end racism on the field. It's a message to their own players. I don't really know what the message is. I'm offended by the message on the field. It offends me. It offends me. Okay? Because it's implying to those that watch the games that they're racist. All right? I mean, it doesn't belong on the football field. It doesn't. Choose love, stop hate do not belong on the back of helmets. All right? And there's 4 other slogans, too. Black Lives Matter being one of them. I can't even remember what the others are. Oh, it takes all of us. Really? Duh. Yeah. Great. It's Roger Goodell in that area has just lost me. He really has. I've lost all respect for that man. I just have. It's just a joke. It really is. It's an absolute joke. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. So Kings and Blazers tonight. Will the young players play? I got to believe without Zach LaVine. And if Schroeder doesn't play, I mean, if Keon Ellis and Devin Carter can't get on the floor tonight, I mean, good Lord. Doug Christie 2 days ago at practice talking about how key the development of young players are. And there's something else going on with the Kings, and I wanted to continue to bring this up because I'm getting asked about it a lot. And that's about Mark Spears in his Anscape story with De'Aaron Fox, putting in the story, and there's been more talk to this, that several of the veterans are not on board with Doug Christie. And the fact that this is being discussed, it appears to me, just from my eyes, there is a disconnect there. But I've been saying this for a couple of weeks. Oh, Carter's assigned to the G League. My bad. Well, I'll tell you this about the Sacramento Kings. There's no rhyme or no reason through the first 2 months of the season of who's playing and who's not playing. Okay? There's just not. There's no rhyme or reason. I can't figure it out. From the 916, NFL has selective empathy. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. It's really whatever is politically correct and whatever they need to do to stop being, I guess, attacked on social media from a social messaging perspective. It's exactly what's going on, in my opinion. If you disagree, that's fine. But that's how I've been very consistent about this, and I've been saying this for a long time. Could I be wrong? I could be wrong. But that's my opinion. That's how I feel. Hey, folks, I want to talk to you about DAS Mechanical. And I didn't know this until several weeks ago, that most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric. Bottom line, it's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on energy bills. If your current heating and air system is 15 years or older, you know what? It may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Nearly all of DAS's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. Nick Delancey, their owner, their team, they are experts at this. That's right. They specialize in it. They also have 0% financing and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned, family-owned, DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Get online, dasmechanical.org. You can book everything there. Look at all of their 5-star reviews, their numerous best of the best awards, dasmechanical.org. Again, that's dasmechanical.org. Phone calls, text messages, next at 916-779-0929, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
The holidays are here, and Gabrut Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrut's. 1. There's still time for Gabrut's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabrut's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabrut's has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrut's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrut's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrut's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrut's.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Nine 916-779-0929. Huge game in the NFL tonight. Kings and Blazers. Brian and Sacktown on the other side of the glass. So help me out here. It's the G League Showcase in Orlando, correct?
Correct. It begins tomorrow.
Okay. So you don't have Zach LaVine for at least a week. You still have Dennis Schroeder in and out of the lineup. He's questionable tonight. Assuming that Schroeder does not play, would this not be a perfect opportunity for Devin Carter to play on the NBA floor as opposed to the G League Showcase?
Yeah, it would be a great opportunity for him to get some run, but it's a better opportunity, I believe, in the Kings' eyes, to have all of the scouts or a lot of the scouts and many of the G League teams out in Orlando looking at him, seeing extended run. Look at the way he scored in the G League. He's not going to do that.
That's my point. They've already seen him in the G League. I don't want to see him in the G League. I've already seen him in the G League for 2 years.
Yes and no, Grant. He's played a handful of games in the G League.
Yeah, but he's played well every time he's been down there, has he not?
Correct.
Okay, so I've seen enough if I'm a scout. I want to see him on the NBA floor. If I'm interested in Devin Carter, I want to be interested in him based on how he's doing against NBA talent. I've already seen him play in the G League. I don't need to see him play in the G League anymore.
Yeah, but Grant, when we saw Schroeder out, Devin didn't come in until games were out of control. So what's the assumption he's going to play tonight if Schroeder doesn't play? LaVine? Okay,
so then once again, we're talking about management decisions that make no sense for the Sacramento Kings. That's what we're talking about. And here's the other deal. Let's say, for sake of argument, or not argument, conversation, that Devin Carter plays great in the G League.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? That means the team might be interested in him? Okay, what are we talking about? A throw-in or are we talking about a minor deal? So you're going to give away a young player who, again, if he excels in the G League, you're going to maybe have some interest. Why would you not want to develop that player in your own damn system when you have a weakness at that position? Why would you do that? It makes no sense to me.
Well, Grant, you're using logic. I mean,
it's so insane. This organization doesn't do anything right.
So he would be one of the sweeteners. Now, he's not the sweetest of the sweeteners. A lot of teams, I believe, are looking at Keon Ellis.
I agree.
I
agree.
So
it just doesn't make sense to me, Ryan. I'm sorry.
Well, Grant,
I don't understand it. I do not understand it. This is an opportunity for him, especially if Schroeder cannot play, to have him on the court playing valuable NBA minutes as opposed to G League, which are the majority of the players in a G League are never going to step onto an NBA floor.
That's correct. You bring up a good question. I wonder how many of the two-way players across the league, not just in Sacramento, or any players that aren't playing are being assigned. Is this just a Sacramento thing? Is this something that many teams are doing for the showcase? Couldn't really tell you. But Grant, what happens if Keon Ellis sprains an ankle tonight? Neat Clifford pulls a hammy. You're looking at playing a ton of minutes with the old guys again. So they've dealt with.
So you know what happens? So instead of 6 and 20, you're 6 and 21. That's what happens.
Correct. Yes, but
really.
But you're not. You're not taking a step.
I understand where you're coming from.
You're not taking a step forward towards finding out what you have with the youth, and that's been the message the last 2-3 days of practice coming out of the Kings building.
It drives me crazy. It just does. It drives me crazy. I mean, if Devin Carter were a rookie, if this was his first year and he hadn't had experience in the G League, then I would say, okay, that's fine. But he's not in his first year. He's a second-year player, and I don't believe he needs to be in the G League right now. In my opinion, with the way the roster looks and with the injuries currently, I think he needs to be up with the big boys playing in the NBA and getting some valuable minutes. That's what I want.
I would agree with you. I also, from being with the team for most of the practices, all of training camp, I've seen the little changes, at least in practice and after practice, in Devin's game from year 1 to year 2. Devin, I'm going to tell you right now.
Oh,
Devin,
sorry.
Don't get mad at me because he doesn't like it when we talk about it. But the arc on his shot, it's not as much arc. He's gotten a little bit of a quicker release. He's not putting his head down as much when he dribbles, and you can see that in the work that he does, and he's a little bit more composed on the floor. And he hasn't had a chance to really showcase that on the big stage. And this, quite frankly, against Portland, a team that you have issues with in terms of length, It's a good game to do it, Napes, like you said.
Yeah. 916-779-0929.
I'm frustrated if I'm Devin Carter.
I'm more than frustrated. I'm upset. I'm more than frustrated. I'm not happy. Speaking of the game tonight, Chad Doing is hosting Rip City Drive. It's a sports talk show on Rip City Radio in Portland. They primarily focus in on the Blazers and the Oregon Ducks. We'll talk to him coming up at 5 o'clock. That is coming up on today's show before the Kings and the Blazers. All right. Seahawks, Rams tonight, short week. Rams barely beat Seattle despite 4 Darnold interceptions. You said this yesterday, and I think it's the number one focal point, which I don't like the matchup from Seattle's perspective. Seattle last week could barely run the ball against their opponent. They could barely run the ball against the Colts. I think they only had 6 yards rushing at the half. They ended up with a very, very low total. Their offense was stymied. They didn't score a touchdown. They couldn't get into the end zone from the red zone. They had to settle for 6 field goals. And again, they could not run the ball. If they cannot run the ball tonight, they will not win the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think they will either. Or you need a massive performance from Sam Darnold, which we've seen very solid performances from him, but nothing that's like off the charts. You know, I put him a little bit more in that category of a game manager, and more times than not this season, he's done a really good job. And the times that he hasn't, as you said, have been against the Rams.
I wish this game were on a Sunday. I wish it were on a Monday, but it is what it is. I hate divisional games on Thursday nights. I just hate it. But that's where we're at. And you want to talk about the ramifications of this game, particularly if Seattle loses, and how that changes the entire makeup of January for them. Think about this.
So true.
They could go from having the number 1 seed and a bye week to having to play on the road every week.
Yeah. It's a big difference. It's a massive difference, especially for Seattle, because the home field advantage is so important. You know, they're underdogs tonight, 1.5.
Yeah, I did see that. Something else that I wanted to tell you, and I'm going to do it next segment. We got caught up on so many different things this week. I did not do my NFL bottom 5 and my top 5 teams of the week. So I'm going to start that in the next segment and continue it after we have Chris Landry on. So I'm going to start off with my bottom 5 teams in the next segment. And then after Chris Landry, I will do the top 5 teams. We got caught up on a couple of things this week, and I didn't get to it. But I don't have to get to it until kickoff on Thursday, which is where we're at right now.
No, we didn't get caught up. You had an amazing conversation with Susan Waldman.
Yeah, well, that was unbelievable. Wow. I wish she was coming on today for about 3 hours. Yeah. So I have my bottom 5 teams in the NFL coming up in the next segment, which there are a lot of bad teams, boy. Oh, there are a lot of bad teams in the NFL, a lot of bad teams. And there's also a lot of talk about where Joe Burrow is going to be. Is he going to stay with Cincinnati? Is he not going to stay with Cincinnati? Boy, if the Bengals were to lose Joe Burrow, wow. I mean, I can't imagine Joe Burrow leaving Cincinnati. And what I mean is I can't imagine that from the Bengals' perspective. What a disaster that would be if he ends up playing somewhere else. A disaster. Wow. I really can't imagine that. And then in Miami, you've got a quarterback change. So, you know, you got Quinn Ewers, who's going to take over for Tua. And you just wonder, what does this mean for Tua? You know, the concussion issues, his very inconsistent play, his coach really with some very stern comments at the Tuesday press conference. No more Tua for the Miami Dolphins, at least for this week, and I would think for the foreseeable future. You've got the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, who's starting to really put it together, coming off a very strong game. So keep your eye on him and his development. There are a lot of interesting things going on in the NFL with teams that aren't going to be in the postseason. You know, when you talk about Joe Burrow, when you talk about the development of J.J. McCarthy, and then you have what's going on in Chicago with a record of 10-4, and the job that Ben Johnson has done and Caleb Williams, and you look at their schedule to end the season, it's brutal. They've got Green Bay this week, then they're at San Francisco and home to Detroit. And when you talk about Detroit, they're fighting for their playoff lives right now. They are in a very difficult position. We got to remember now, this is the number 1 seed from a year ago. And we're talking about a team that last year was decimated on the defensive side of the football with injuries that really cost them when they played in the playoffs against Washington. But you look at their schedule, Pittsburgh this week at home, at Minnesota, and at Chicago. Wow. So the Lions are hanging on. And could you imagine, we might be seeing a playoffs, Rhino, where the number 1 seed from last year, the Detroit Lions, do not make the playoffs.
It's been that kind of year, Grant.
It has been that kind of year. Yep. And when you look at the conference and you look where they stand right now, they are 8th. All right. They're behind Green Bay at 9-4-1. And they're a game up on Carolina, but they are in a very difficult position right now. I think I read their chances of making the playoffs are 35%. Yeah.
Who do you think, let's assume the Bills do not win a championship. Let's say they lose in the first round of the playoffs in the wild card, and the Lions do not make the playoffs. Whose seat is starting to get warm?
Well, I think without a doubt it's Sean McDermott.
But is Dan starting? Did he hit his seat warmer a little bit? Put it on the low level?
I don't think so.
No?
I think he's bought some time there. I would think it would be Sean McDermott is definitely in a hot seat, and I don't think he would be back under those circumstances. I don't think he would be back. I think that would be it. I think they would make a change, and I really couldn't argue with that. I mean, when you think about this, you can make an argument, and I know that their nemesis has been the Chiefs, but you know, at least when you look at the Bills, they've been as good as anybody in the AFC, and it's the same old story year after year after year. Now, I'm not saying that's the case this year, but in previous years, you know, it's been that way. And really, when you look at the Bills and their history of their franchise, and you go back a couple of years ago to the asinine decision on special teams, okay, with only a couple of seconds left, to give the Chiefs the ball at great field position, and 2 plays later, they're in field goal range.
So true.
And then they lose in overtime. They really haven't recovered from that game yet. They just haven't.
Yeah, spot on, partner.
They have not recovered from that game yet. Hey, we'll come back. My bottom 5 teams in the NFL. That's coming up next here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
We are Fox. A new year is almost here. A fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear. And they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed. They earn 6-figure incomes. 2/3 own their own homes. And they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. They listen longer. So your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me. 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
I'm with Vince Bloom, the big deal guy at Folsom Lake Dodge.
Vince! Actually, this time of year, you can call me the Holiday Big Deal Guy.
The Holiday Big Deal Guy!
Because during the wrap-up-the-year sales event at Folsom Lake Dodge, you can save over $18,000 net savings off MSRP on a new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4.
I'll take it.
And for a stocking stuffer,
keys to a Jeep,
a new 2025 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Sport S. Right now, I've got one for only $36,995.
That's why they call you
the Big Deal Guy.
So over $18,000 grand off a Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab.
And a Jeep Wrangler Sport for only $36,995. But you'll only find these big holiday deals at one place.
That's right, only one place. At Folsom Lake Dodge in the Folsom Auto Mall.
But online at FolsomLakeDodge.com.
Ram includes 9873 dealer discount plus 8207 in national stackable and holiday bonus cash. Then SN 667196. Jeep includes 4250 dealer discount plus 12750 in bonus national retail loyalty and holiday cash. Must be current owner of FCA vehicle to qualify for loyalty bonus cash. Then SW 543907. See dealer details, expires 1/2/26.
Need the best in tires? Now through New Year's, save big at Express Tires on Watt Avenue. Sacramento Express Tires with a 60-minute install guarantee. Express Tires has one of the largest on-site inventories in the region, so the tires you want or need are waiting for you. Get over to Express Tires for on-site specials. Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue, Sacramento. Express Tires. Take care of your car or truck and protect your wallet.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back with you here on Fox Sports Sacramento. 916-779-0929. My bottom 5 teams in the National Football League. The worst team in the NFL, your Las Vegas Raiders. They're pathetic. They're so bad that it's like I don't even know where to start. They're a mirror image of the Sacramento Kings with one exception. They've got hardware in their trophy case that would tell you that many, many moons ago they were really good. They haven't been really, really good for a long time, and they're really, really bad right now at 2-12. They are the worst team in the National Football League. The second worst team in the NFL resides in Nashville, Tennessee. The Tennessee Titans are 2-12. They have the worst point differential in the league. I would put them in the victory box if they played the Raiders head-to-head, but they're still bad. So the Raiders are 32. The Titans are 31. The New York Jets are 30. They're just terrible. They're just an ownership disaster. They never get anything right. They're 3-11, and they're a really bad football team. They share a stadium with another bad football team, just not as bad in my opinion. That's the New York Football Giants at 2-12. Not a good time to be in the New York metropolitan area if you're a fan of the Jets and the Giants. Just terrible. A combined 5-25. Actually, 5-23, I'm sorry. They already have enough losses. I don't want to give them more losses. 5-23, their combined record. They'll be 5-25 after this week, but that's where they are right now. And then my 5th worst team, I had to literally flip a coin on this one. And that was Arizona and Cleveland. And it came up Arizona. So if it had come up Cleveland, I would have picked them. I literally flipped a coin. and it was the Arizona Cardinals, who are fifth worst, with Cleveland hanging on to their arm. So there you have it. Raiders, Titans, Jets, Giants, Cardinals. Any disagreements there, Rhino?
No, can't really argue with you. I think you nailed it.
Would you put Arizona in there instead of Cleveland, or would you be fine with either or?
I would put Arizona in because Cleveland, for the most part, has been competitive, and you've got a rookie quarterback learning the ropes. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
Well, this is week to week. They got embarrassed last week, and I understand what you were saying, but boy, oh boy, what a horrible game last week for the Browns. But I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm okay with that. But if you look at what happened last week at Chicago, they lost 31-3, and I think they're going to get stymied this week. Matter of fact, I think they're going to get destroyed in their next 3 games. Buffalo, I think, will beat them badly. Pittsburgh, I think, will beat them badly because they have to. That's going to be basically a playoff game for Pittsburgh to keep winning because they play Baltimore the final week of the season, and then they're at Cincinnati. So I think it's going to be a rough sledding the rest of the way for Cleveland, who comes in after losing at home 26-8 to the Niners. Then they lose 31-29 to Tennessee, and then they got blown out at Chicago.
Is there a team that you think is going to make it into that bottom 5 by the end of the season? That's
currently not there right now?
That's not there right now, or that has not been on the fringe? A coin flip away.
I don't think so. Because all the teams that are in the mix, Washington's been in that group, New Orleans been in that group. I don't think so. I think that the teams that will be there are the ones I just mentioned in no particular order. Titans, Giants, Raiders, Cardinals, Browns, Jets, maybe Washington. Those are and maybe New Orleans. New Orleans actually has won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
But no, there's no other team that's going to jump in there. None. Not with 3 weeks left. There's not enough games left.
Did you see Tyler Shuck's song that he came out with? Did you hear
Who's that?
Their quarterback?
The song? I didn't see that. What? Help me out with this.
I will pull that for you. He has gone a little viral. It's pretty good, Grant.
It was Tyler
Shuck.
I don't even know who that is.
Yes. I'll get that for you.
Thank you.
You got it.
Speaking of that, how about the NC State basketball coach?
Oh, boy. Old school. That was great. He's running a daycare at NC State.
Is that beautiful or what?
It's wonderful. We're running a daycare.
Is that a classic?
He lit his team up, Grant. It was so good. He even was like, I'm playing these guys Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Will Wade. Can we play some of the sound from that? From Will Wade?
Made their Christmas. It's going to be miserable for me. I made their Christmas. They got a Christmas present a week early. Playing some of these guys. But
I wish the audio was a little bit better there. It's kind of hard to hear, but
I've
wow.
been concerned for weeks.
Let me see if we got a better.
Today in our shoot around, we made 88 mistakes.
Is that better?
Not really. That's all right.
We'll scratch it.
What a classic, huh?
Yeah, he ran them down pretty well, and it was funny because some of the stuff that he was saying on the back end, trying to rely on one scorer and going out there on hope.
He said, we have a 3.0 GPA. That's wonderful. If we were running a daycare, we run a competitive basketball program.
Hey, if you are on his team, you take that one on the chin. You're not pushing back on your coach after that.
And the other one that I love was we made 86 mistakes today in shoot around.
How does the second unit make 20 more?
Right. He goes, and I track it all. And then he actually says, we made this number of mistakes with offensive sets. We made this number of mistakes with deep. And then he said, the second team comes in and they commit more than the first. How can that, and he was just going on and on and on.
Going on and on. Hey, I don't know if you caught this, but Bill Simmons, Zach Lowe, they were doing their show, and Adam Silver was asked about the Clippers investigation the other night before the NBA Cup tipped off. Check out what Bill Simmons said.
There's some whispers that this is the Ballmer punishment. Just be ready for a holiday news drop on that one.
Okay.
Some whispers. Like a Friday 5:30 day after Christmas type of situation. They have to get something out as we're getting closer to the All-Star game now that the Clippers are hosting. They cannot go into the All-Star game without having announced what happened. And I think we're moving closer to finding out what the punishment will be, if there will be a punishment.
All right. That's interesting.
Interesting. It's been going on a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. You know, the gambling scandal really put the Bomber salary cap scandal under the sheets, per se. They slid it under the bed.
It really did, at least from a public sentiment, probably not in league circles. It probably hasn't slowed down their investigation, but I would agree with you.
I thought Adam Silver, when he was asked, and you did a rant on it, Rachel Nichols asked if he had a comment on Chris Paul being released and how that all went down. And she said, have you talked to Chris or have you talked to Mr. Bomber since that? He goes, I've talked to him, but not about that. For Adam Silver?
I know.
All right. Makes you think something's in the pipeline.
Just your guess, you think there's going to be some wrongdoing found here and it's going to be a severe penalty? Is that your gut? Is that what that's telling you?
I really do. Yes. How about you?
Yep. Normally where there's smoke, there's fire. Right?
Yeah, there's too much there. Too many payments, not enough substance, and too many people that have come forward. There's got to be something, I would think, in the middle. And Pablo Torre, who won a massive award for his podcast this year, I believe it was one of the best this year. He does some really accurate reporting.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of respect, and I think he has a lot of credibility.
By the way, if you are a fan, as we get ready to celebrate the new year, then the following month, you'll have pitchers and catchers report, and then you'll be able to go to spring training, whether it's in the Cactus League or the Grapefruit League. I love this little segment in Phil Mushnick's bi-weekly column in the New York Post. He received an email from a reader, quote, I run an annual trip for 50 seniors in Delray Beach, Florida, to see the Yankees and Mets play in Port St. Lucie. By the way, that's the spring training home of the Mets. Last year, we paid $37 for seats, but we're just informed that they have gone to a dynamic pricing model, so the same seats this year are $131 each. I guess Steve Cohen needed to get another $5,000 from our generation. Needless to say, we won't be going. Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets. Can you imagine going to the games last year, spring training in Port St. Lucie that were $37, and now those same seats are $131? What is going on?
It's ridiculous.
Seriously.
It's spring training. It should be general admission.
Wow.
That's nuts.
And, of course, Phil has to add on. The plan now is to out-scalp the scalpers, fleece everyone, while dynamic pricing has become a pleasant term for price gouging. 2 years ago, the spring training Mets began to sell fixed income retirees pizza for $9 a slice. No extra charge for a paper napkin.
You know, Phil hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it is. They're looking at the secondary market. They're looking back at the averages for those seats when they sell. It's exactly what dynamic is, because you can't, I mean, I guess you get it back. It's better going through the team if the event was to be canceled. Grant, can you imagine going to get a Super Bowl ticket that's $7,000 on StubHub and it's got a face value of $2,500?
Wow.
And something happened, you lose that difference. So it's sad. It's sad that that's the model.
Incredible. Don't forget Chris Landry, Landry Football KSAC.com. We'll talk about the game tonight. We'll talk about the college football playoffs that get underway this week, and I can't wait. I cannot wait to watch the games this weekend in college football. They are going to be fun. That is for sure. And I'm not so I don't know which game is going to be the best. I can't imagine they're all going to be great. I just think with the matchups that we have, there are going to be some lopsided scores, particularly in the Oregon-James Madison game. I can't imagine that game being close. But that's the beauty of sports, right? And upsets. It's the beauty. It's why we watch. Oregon, the underdogs. Don't ever count out the underdogs. Don't ever consider yourself an underdog when it comes to real estate if you have the right person that's handling your real estate transactions. That's Spencer at Village Financial Group. Experience, right? 25 years, his family-owned business. A specialist when it comes to financing. Creative. Yes, that's Spencer. He is awesome. Broker owner, Village Financial Group. And if it's buying a home, are you selling your home? Maybe you're looking for a home equity line of credit. Whatever it is, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist. And keep in mind, he has access to private money. Call or text Spence, 916-805-4868. That's 805-4868. Give him a call. Text him. And if you're looking at properties, whoa, boy, are there a lot available now. Over 9,000 available on their website, vfgloans.com. That's vfgloans.com. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Grant, I'm a Saints fan. If we finish 7-10 and have our future quarterback, would you say that's better than ruining a top pick? Listen, once you get into the league, it really doesn't matter where you're drafted. Just look at the 49ers. They drafted a quarterback third and drafted a quarterback last, and the quarterback that they drafted third can't get on the field with anybody in the NFL, has been a disaster, and the quarterback that they took last is their starting quarterback who might end up playing in the Super Bowl again for the second time in his career. So, or I shouldn't say that, but he might be going back to the Super Bowl as a 49ers team with Kyle Shanahan. That may happen. He might getting back to the NFC Championship game again. I should say that would be more accurate. So, yeah, absolutely. All right. Next segment, football, college football, the NFL. Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about with the college football playoffs. The schedule, going to be a dandy. That's coming up next right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1, there's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2, Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3, Gabrud's has live call answering 24/7, or any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
At Downtown Ford Sacramento, we're making our holiday list. Let's start out with who's been naughty this year. Well, we can't think of anybody over here at Downtown Ford who's been naughty. Imagine that. So let's talk about who's been nice. Let's see. We want to thank our service department for being the best in the business and keeping everybody's Ford running like new. We're grateful to our back office staff for keeping us organized and making sure we all get paid. A big thanks to our dedicated sales team, and we're also rather thankful to the Ford Motor Company for supplying all these cars and trucks. But most of all, we at Downtown Ford are thankful to you, our customers, who've been coming to us for their Ford cars and trucks for over 100 years. 2025 has been a year of many blessings, and as the oldest Ford dealership in California, we're looking forward to the next 100 years. We're Downtown Ford, online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580. Or go to elitepower.com.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
The weekend is finally here, and it starts tonight with a dandy of a matchup in the NFC West, and then we move into the weekend and the college football playoffs. Here to talk about it, Chris Landry. Check out everything at LandryFootball.com. Also, make sure you go to YouTube, where he has tremendous content on his YouTube channel. Chris, wow, let's do it, man. How are you?
I am doing great. Happy holidays, first of all, to you and everyone out there. And what a great, what a great weekend and upcoming week we're going to have of football.
Boy, I'll tell you. Is there a game that you're circling? I mean, if you could only watch one of these college football games this weekend, which one would you choose?
I think I would have to choose Miami and A&M. I think that may be the best game. Alabama, Oklahoma is intriguing as well. Obviously, we've got two games that should be evenly matched and two that should be, likely blowouts. But I think the 7-10 matchup, Miami A&M, is really intriguing. I don't know if the winner can get by Ohio State, but I will tell you that's a very talented Miami team, a very good Texas A&M team at home. That intrigues me an awful lot.
And then the impact of everything that's gone on at Ole Miss as they take on Tulane. What do you think it's going to be? I mean, the preparation, the game management from a coach's perspective, how do you think that's going to affect this game?
Well, I know the circumstances were different, obviously, in the early part of the year, but the same Ole Miss team, minus their head coach, of course, was different. Lane Kiffin was coaching when they played Tulane early in the year, and they beat them by 5 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
This is a significantly better team. I think Ole Miss will play focused. I think they'll play energized. They've had time to adjust. A number of the coaches that are joining Lane at LSU have been allowed to go back to Oxford to prepare and coach this team. So I suspect that they're going to play well and are going to win decisively. And the irony is, both of these this game involves a head coach that's already left and a head coach at Tulane that's heading to Florida, John Summerall. So, yeah, it is intriguing. But I don't know that I can sell the game as being a good one. Maybe it will be. Maybe Tulane will surprise, but I think this is a much better Ole Miss team.
Is there any reason you could see even James Madison being competitive in this game? The spread is 21 at Oregon. I mean, this really shouldn't be close, correct?
It should not. Let me just tell folks a little bit about James Madison, that because I don't know that many people do. This is
Yeah,
a
please
very
do,
good
because I
team.
don't know much about James Madison. Educate me if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, they're well coached. Obviously, their coaches, seeing a pattern here, right? Their coaches heading to UCLA after this game.
Right.
They're very well coached. And yes, Kurt Signetti left James Madison and basically took most of his team with him. This is Bob Chesney's done a great job. They don't have the elite talent, but boy, what a team they are. They play well together. They're smart. They don't beat themselves. They're very good. They don't match up in the trenches with Oregon. They don't match up speed-wise with Oregon. So, no, I don't expect this game to be close for very long unless Oregon kind of fools around and plays foolishly and turns it over. That could cause some problems and make this game closer than you might think. But, I've been vocal about the fact that I don't think Tulane or James Madison belong in the field, because I think you should be not just a conference champion and one of the top 5 ranked conference champions, but you should be ranked within the top 12, top 15 at least. And they're not. And so I don't expect them to play and compete with Oregon. And it's kind of almost unfair to everyone, and we're going to have to look at it. But, I do think it's a time to at least celebrate the great season they've had and the great season Tulane have had. And but James Madison is a good football team that if they were having a group of 5, Final Four, if you will, I'd love their chances to win a championship. It's just they're playing at a different level now, which is part of the unfair part of this process, I think.
I do agree with you that the game that I would probably watch would be Miami and A&M, but you have an Alabama-Oklahoma rematch a couple of weeks ago in Tuscaloosa. Oklahoma won a very close game. They're favored by only 1.5 points. I don't have a real good read right now on Alabama, but do you think this game will be close?
Absolutely, because I think it's going to be a defensive game. Both offenses are challenged. Ty Simpson's going to have to play a lot better than he has played down the stretch for Alabama. Alabama doesn't run the football well. And in this earlier game that they played this year, Alabama controlled the statistical end of it, but it was the turnovers. And Oklahoma got turnovers, and that's going to be the key in this game. I think red zone offense and turnovers are going to determine who's going to win this game. And the quarterback play, look, that's going to always have a huge factor, but I think it's going to really ultimately determine this one as well. You've got a very mobile quarterback that for Oklahoma and a quarterback at Alabama that, again, I think can be very effective and was, I think, one of the better quarterbacks in this country through the first half of the season, and he's just completely lost confidence. And I don't know that this layoff and this practice time and preparation time is going to gain it back, but he's going to have to play better than he did the first time, because that was the difference in the game. And John Napear can make plays with his feet, and so I think it gives Oklahoma a little bit of a chance. I kind of favor Oklahoma a little bit in this game. But I think it's going to be very close in a 4-quarter game.
Let's talk about the Heisman winner. And you study, you look at players on film, you dissect players, you follow their growth. Has the development of Mendoza surprised you, number one? And number two, how do you project him at the next level?
Yeah, a little bit. He was a kid that came out of Florida and goes to Cal, and in the day and age transfer portal, and was sold on what Indiana was doing with Kurt, and he comes in and he's a leader, he's smart, he's tough, he makes really good decisions, and he manages the game from the neck up. He's got playmaking ability on top of that. I think he's had a a really good year. Obviously, they played games in which they were better than the majority of the teams that they played. But we saw him outplay what I thought was a more talented quarterback against Oregon, and certainly made enough plays that they didn't play particularly well against Penn State, but found a way to win that at the end. You know, this guy is got that clutch gene that makes plays under pressure. It doesn't seem to bother him. His teammates rally around him. I think this is a special young man, and I do think he's got a good future. I think he can be a good leader for a team in the NFL. I think he's got a lot of ability. He's going to work. He's going to get better. He's got all the intangible qualities you look for. You know my feeling. We've worked with each other enough to know that it's about how you get developed in the league.
Yep.
With the right people. This guy has got a chance to be really good if put in a good situation and properly developed.
What do you think the challenges are for the teams that have buys this week, which means another week of no games, which is a long layoff? We used to talk about this all the time when we had the conventional bowls, when you went from, your last game, whether it was a championship game or Notre Dame or what have you, and you have to wait several weeks. And I guess, again, I'll use the word challenges from a coaching perspective, from a player's perspective. Do we make too much out of that, or is there something to it?
No, I think there's always a chance that you could be a little sluggish early on. But here's how I approach it is, look, we play for this bye. I mean, whether it's the NFL, you play for it. So let's take the layoff and use it to our advantage. So a couple of things. We're going to heal up. We're going to get some guys healthier that, in a normal week, we couldn't do it. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to start game planning 3 weeks in advance, because then what ends up happening is, Grant, about 8 days into that preparation, you peak, and it becomes, a little bit malaise after that. So what you do is you take advantage of the early part of the preparation to work on you, to work on individuals, to work on things that we need to get better at. And then what you gradually do without introducing it as things that the upcoming opponent does, you start to throw things and you start to work at things like, okay, look, we've got to do a better job against cover 3 or cover 2 look or press man look. You work on certain things. You work on defending bunch stats or whatever it is that your opponent will do without saying, hey, this is what the opponent does. You just start to work on things from a technique standpoint. Then when you start to put in your game plan, like a normal week, maybe a couple of days more, then you can peak when it's game time. And I think that's what you do. I think the teams that can do that the best are more than likely they just have a better chance of being sharper when the game starts. So, look, it's an advantage. You just got to make it an advantage and don't just get into a situation where you become sluggish and you don't really. I think sometimes you can overwork guys in this time too. You got all this time. Yeah, use it to heal. Use it to kind of get away a little bit. And then obviously as we're getting towards right now, they're starting to hone in. And what you do is you start to do your preparation work. So if you're Indiana, your staff has already broken down both Oklahoma and Alabama. So you're prepared to play both. And all you need to do is add this game Friday night to the scouting report, and you're good to go. So whereas, I think that Alabama and Oklahoma can't quite go that route because they are so focused on playing one another. They're going to have to focus on, the winner will have to focus on playing Indiana. And same thing with the Miami, Texas A&M winner. So, look, I think it's an advantage if you know how to use it and utilize it.
Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com. And before we talk about tonight's game in the NFL, you always do this over the holidays. You have a 50% off deal right now on your website, don't you?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to learn a little bit more about what we do. We break down football, college, NFL, all year round, recruiting, the draft. but obviously breaking down the game. So, yeah, we'll do it. And if you want to get a chance to kind of learn more about what we do, as you mentioned at the top, and we appreciate it, check out the YouTube channel. Every day we put up something related to college football, the NFL, and it gives you a little bit of an insight in what we do. So I appreciate you mentioning that.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's get to tonight. Devontae Adams is inactive. When they played earlier in the year in SoFi, Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions. And even with that said, they had the ball with a chance to win it at the end. In that game, Adams only had 1 reception. I can't imagine the Seahawks winning tonight if they don't get their running game going. But how do you handicap this game tonight? How do you see it?
Yeah, that's the concern, is that they put too much of it in the hands of Sam Darnold because they can't run it well enough. And, to me, the advantage I would have with Seattle, obviously, in addition to the home field, is the fact that desperate is probably a little bit overstating it, but not too much. I mean, this is a team that's got a good defense. I think this game is huge. You'll lose it. And I think the Rams have played better, looked better, more of a challenging team. But to me, the whole key is for Seattle is, can they get Sam Darnold on the right track? Because if they don't, they won't win tonight, and they're not going to advance going forward. So even if they win tonight, they scrap it up on special teams and defense and win the turnover battle. If Sam Darnold is not seeing the field better and they're not running it better, you've alluded to that, it's going to, this win tonight would be short-lived. I give them a better chance than most people think of winning this game, but I do think whether the Rams win tonight or not, I think the Rams are more complete than Seattle, and they're a more dangerous come playoff time.
Is that because of the quarterback?
Mainly due to the quarterback play. Because Matt Stafford's been there. He can do it. And I just got to see Sam Darnold do a little bit more. Boy, he has looked good for stretches at Minnesota and looked like he was the MVP type guy in the first half of the year. But now that they're relying on him more because the running game's gone away, he's not stepped up, so that concerns me.
Not only that, but in the playoff game last year, as the starting quarterback of the Vikings against the Rams, he was horrible, and he was horrible this year. Yeah. Do you believe, is there something to that where there's just that one team that can always be your nemesis where for whatever reason you don't play well? And I'm not discrediting a very good defense in which the Rams have, but you've been around this sport your whole life pretty much. Is there something to that, just for whatever reason against one team you don't play well?
Yeah, I think matchups, styles make fights, and I think matchups just give you some trouble sometimes. And I think with in the case of Darnold, teams that throw a lot of different looks at him, he's a little bit hesitant. And he can go through progressions pretty nicely, but his body will tip off where he's going with the ball. And I think teams that play really good zone coverage can read him. So if you've got a team that plays a lot of man coverage, I think Sam is more likely to have success. If you're playing zone coverage and with the eyes on the quarterback, then you can see where he's going with the ball. In other words, he may be looking off number 1, number 2, and going to look at it number 3 with his eyes, but his body's showing that he's still inclined to go to number 2, and defenses can pick that off. I can see it on film, obviously. Opposing teams see it on film. So that's where I think he struggles a little bit. And I think, the Rams do a pretty good job with that. And I think that they did a good job last year with him against him. And, we'll see if this continues tonight.
Last week, Chris, I asked you about Houston. I'm really high on them because I like teams that are playing well at the end of the year, and I love teams that can play defense, and that's Houston. You have the team, though, that's currently leading that division in Jacksonville. They're at Denver, and no one's really talking about Jacksonville. Are they underappreciated or are they underrated? Do you like that team? Do you think that they should be getting more of a mention in these national conversation? What's your read on them?
Yeah, I think they should be getting more, credit for winning. It's tough to win in this league. When you look at them, they don't wow you. you mentioned Houston's defense. That wows you. Denver's defense wows you. They don't really wow you. They're very solid in a lot of areas. They've developed a pretty good roster. I think we need to look at the AFC a little bit differently than the NFC this year, because I don't think there's that clear, who's that team to beat in the AFC? Well, really, who is that team to beat in the AFC? I mean, it's not overly exciting when you look at it. I mean, there's good teams, but nobody says, well, you're going to have to beat them. They're going to be tough to beat. Denver's good. Why can't Jacksonville? Why can't Houston, jump in there and have success? I think that's realistic. New England has been solid, but Buffalo with Josh Allen, I mean, it's just nobody looks all that complete. Somebody's going to get on that roll. And you mentioned Houston last week, and I agree with you. Get into the playoffs, the defense plays well, and the quarterback plays well, which he has played better. Why not them getting on a run? It's not just going to be, well, Denver's got the best record, let's say, if they are able to finish this off. That's the team to beat. Well, they will be, because they're tough to beat in Denver, but you can go in there and beat them. I mean, they're teams that can go in there and absolutely beat them. And I think that Jacksonville and Houston are two of them, because I don't think the top of the AFC is as strong as, say, the top of the NFC.
Chris, I appreciate it. Obviously, with Christmas next week, I'm really hoping maybe we can juggle our schedule to get you on, because I would love to get your take on the college football playoffs. So let's connect, and maybe we can get you on earlier in the week if you have time.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. It'll be a big weekend to recap and look ahead. So I look forward to it. You bet.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com. When we come back, my top 5 teams in the NFL. That's coming up. That's right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
If you can't remember the last time you had your home heating system inspected, it's probably time. Right now, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort is offering a $79 complete heating and air system inspection. We'll check your entire system, clean it up, and make sure it's running perfectly. Call or visit us online today and schedule your $79 winter system inspection at SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580. Or go to elitepower.com.
Cameron, I just think we need to, see other people.
Are you trading me in?
No. A trade-in is what I'm getting from Kitchen Mart.
A trade-in?
Right now, Kitchen Mart's offering a $750 credit when you trade in your old kitchen countertops for something worth showing off, like granite, marble, or solid surface.
I'm not worth showing off?
Not like the stunning new quartz countertops Kitchen Mart just installed for Karen and Tom. Durable, easy cleanup, made their kitchen look brand new. And Kitchen Mart gave them a $750 trade-in credit to haul off their ugly old tile and grout countertop.
You're dumping me.
That's harsh. You want me to wait till I get the new countertops from Kitchen Mart?
At least hold off till Wednesday. I'm seeing Susan.
Susan!
Now's the perfect time to trade up to beautiful new quartz, granite, marble, or solid surface countertops. Because for a limited time, Kitchen Mart's offering a $750 trade-in credit for your old countertops. Go to kitchenmart.com today and schedule a free in-home consultation and save $750 off new countertops.
No one does it better than KitchenMart.com.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant addiction. They can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. This holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the company of family and friends and create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org.
Rolling right along here on a Thursday. NFL tonight, a dandy. Kings and Blazers, not a dandy. Post-game show on YouTube and X right after the Kings Blazers. Jerry Reynolds, Ryan at Sacktown, myself. Looking forward to that. And right now, my top 5 teams heading into this week in the National Football League. I got a little Fox music behind me there, Rhino. Come on. Gonna jazz this up, buddy? Yes. 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 This is right next to Earth, Wind, and Fire for me. Love it. All right. You ready for this? For the first time this year, this team is making my top 5 in the National Football League. The team that I've been talking about for the last 4 weeks. A team that's won 6 in a row. A team that stymies you defensively. A team that's got a quarterback that's playing well now after missing 3 games with a concussion. That team, the Houston Texans, despite 5 losses, they are my 5th best team in the National Football League. My 4th top team in the NFL, despite blowing a 21-0 lead and losing, the New England Patriots check in at number 4. At number 3, a team that is playing tonight, the 12th man, Sam Darnold. Defense, can they run the football? Well, they're 11-3. The Seattle Seahawks are my 3rd best team in the National Football League. Cody, where are you when I need you? Mr. Denver Bronco fan, who's been there through thick and thin with the Broncos, knows every player on the team in terms of studying them, knows the Broncos inside and out. Cody, where are you when I need you? I have the Denver Broncos as the 2nd best team in the National Football League with a record of 12-2. And then the Rams, still the top team in the NFL at 11-3. Will they go to 12-3 or will they lose? But right now, they're number 1 on my list. And for those of you that say, Napes, how can you have Houston ahead of San Francisco? I would say, well, I know the Niners have won 4 in a row, but in the head-to-head competition, Houston beat San Francisco. So that's why I have Houston ahead of San Francisco. Mr. Ryan in Sacktown, any disagreements, sir?
You know, I'm not so sure I wouldn't have the Texans higher. They're just playing such great football right now, Napes.
Who are you going to put them ahead of? You can't put them ahead of Seattle. You can't put them ahead of the Rams. You can't put them ahead of Denver. The only team you could then possibly put them ahead of would be New England, who's 11-3.
See, that's where I might move New England to 3, the Texans to 4, because if we went head-to-head right now, I feel like the Texans would beat the Seahawks, as much as it hurts me to say that. And the Seahawks at 5.
So you'd have Seattle at 5. All right. How about Cody? I know Cody's listening from the 650, moving up on the Broncos, maybe number 1 next week. Cody, I'll tell you right now, if Denver wins this week against Jacksonville and the Rams lose, I'm having Denver at number 1 next week, buddy. At the end of the year, Cody, that's where you want to be. You don't care about being number 1 in week 1, Cody. You don't care about being number 1 on Halloween. You don't care about being number 1 around Thanksgiving. No, Cody. You want to be number 1 when you turn the calendar to 25 to 26. Your team is trending. You may be number 1 on my list for the first time this year. I got to love Cody, man. The guy, he does the guy ever miss a show that we do either here on the radio or over on our YouTube channel?
Never.
Never.
And you know what is on top of that? He always makes it better. He stimulates the conversation, comes in with good takes, great questions.
Oh, he's great.
Love you.
And then he was out at our live shows that we did when the Kings were in the playoffs 3 years ago when we're at local restaurants. He's out there. You know, he lives in the freaking Bay Area.
I
You know, that's not
know.
exactly like, you know, getting in your car and driving 10 minutes. He's driving a couple of hours to come see us. The guy's the best.
And Napes, he has his wife down with it too.
Yes.
She comes
Yes.
with him.
Yes. Yes, she does. And she's a delightful lady. Enjoyed talking to her. She's Filipino. And so when he came with his wife, I'm, of course, talking to her about the Philippines because I've never been there and I want to go there. You know, I've been to Asia a number of times and I love Southeast Asia. But other than the airport, so I was quizzing her on the Philippines, and then Cody's trying to get me to go over to the Philippines. And so, you know, we go from sports into traveling in about 10 minutes, you know?
Yep. Cody, let us know, how often do you get the good lumpia? I know somebody in that family is making that.
Yeah, good point. Absolutely. I need to go to the Philippines because I've been to so many of the other countries over in Asia, and particularly that region. I have not been to Taiwan other than the airport. So I've only been there to transfer, to go back and forth. If I'm traveling to Southeast Asia, a lot of times I'll go through Taiwan, stop in Taipei. But I have only been to the airport at Manila, which is, by the way, the worst airport in the world. So, you know, I don't really try to transfer through there anymore just because the airport is so bad. I don't even want to spend an hour there. God, it's terrible.
What makes it so bad?
It's like, it has zero amenities. It's like traveling back into the 50s or 60s, which I wouldn't know what it was like traveling into the 50s, but it would be like if you went back in time, right?
Yeah.
And you woke up and it was 1965. That would be the airport. That's Manila.
No dog restrooms, I would
Barely.
assume? Okay.
I mean, it's terrible.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
like,
Now, in
that's
all
a major
fairness-
city, right?
Huh?
It's a major city. Isn't
Yeah,
Manila
in all fairness, the last time I was at the airport in Manila was 2014. So maybe they've upgraded it a little bit, but boy, it was horrible back then. Cody would be able to answer that better than I would. I think he's been to the Philippines more recently than I have.
What is the worst international airport in America?
Great question. Well, I haven't been to all of them, so let me say that. In terms of being able to get on a plane and fly internationally out of America, that's a really good question. I'd have to think about that for a couple of minutes. That's a great question. Off the top of my head, I can't name any that I would just say are horrible, the ones that I've flown out of. I mean, JFK is fine depending on what terminal you're flying out of. O'Hare is fine depending on where you're flying. LAX has done a great job with their Bradley terminal. San Francisco is very nice when you fly internationally. Boy, that's a great question. I have to really think about that. I don't know. Said Grant and Ryan, my wife makes, how do you pronounce that? Lumpia?
Lumpia.
And Adobe chicken a few times a year. That's from Lynn.
Oh, Adobe chicken. That's really, really good stuff.
Okay. I'd have to think about worst international airport in America.
Athena says, and she's chiming in internationally, Frankfurt, due to the smoke.
I've been to the airport in Frankfurt. What's wrong with that airport?
She said the smoke.
Well, the only time I remember smoke in the airport when I got off the airplane was in Belgrade, over in Serbia. It was like walking through a smoldering fire. But I don't recall that in Frankfurt. And I was at but I haven't been to the airport in Frankfurt in a long time. The last time was 2007. So it's been a long time.
I really need to get a passport.
Huh?
I really need to get a passport.
You don't have a passport?
I do not.
What's wrong with you?
I know. Again, dad, pilot, flying all over the
world.
Are
you kidding me? You don't have a passport?
Don't have a passport. But I have a real ID. At least I'm like halfway there.
No. You don't have a passport?
I don't.
You can't even go to Canada.
I know. I wouldn't be able to go to Mexico.
No, you can't go anywhere. Would you get a passport, please?
Yes. It's on the to-do list.
How are we going to go to Thailand one time if you don't have a passport?
It's why it's on the to-do list.
I'm going to go. Righto, I'm leaving in a couple of weeks. Meet me at the Napes. I don't have my passport.
Can we go to New York? Yes, it's on the list.
Okay. Just keep waiting. That's the best way to do it. Just keep procrastinating and waiting and waiting. That's the best way to get your passport.
Yeah, you're not living your best life if you don't have your passport because you're stuck here. And it's not a bad place to be stuck, but you can't travel off the mainland other than the islands, Hawaii.
All right, here's Cody. Denver beat Houston with Davis Mills. Not sure if Denver would have won if C.J. Stroud played. Keep winning, Broncos. Jaguars last 4 games versus Arizona, Tennessee, Indy, the Jets. Easy for them, I would agree. Smoke and mirrors. Don't disagree with that. And then he said, in Manila Airport feels like 1972 compared to SFO. That's Cody. I called it 1965, so I was off by 7 years. Thank you, Cody.
You two are so in sync.
Yeah.
Man.
How about that? He's going 1972, and I went 1965.
Wow. 858 says JFK is the worst in the world.
No.
Congestion and rudest people. I do know this, 858, which is a San Diego area code. I used to love Gate 1 at the San Diego airport. It was dedicated only for Southwest flights to Sacramento and San Diego.
Oh, yeah,
Best
you're right.
gate ever.
You're exactly right. Yep, you're right.
Own
I would say
security.
this about JFK. It would be one of the lowest rated international airports. You have to understand, JFK is a lot different than most airports because their terminals are actually separate structures. Like you have a structure and then space and then structure and space. So like you have, I want to say there are 10 different terminals to fly out of JFK. And they're all completely different with their own nuances. Some are really new, like the American Airlines terminal is very modern, extremely upgraded. The JetBlue terminal is very, very congested, but it has all the amenities, but it is very congested. If you're flying on, let's say, Singapore Airlines out of Terminal 1, that's not congested. If you go to the other side of the airport and you're flying on either Emirates Airlines, or I should say Singapore is over there now too. I think that is Terminal 5 or Terminal 4. That's Emirates Airlines, Singapore, Qatar. You got a couple of different airlines. I'm going to give that a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. So I would agree. I would put JFK maybe at the worst, but it's not terrible. It's not Manila-like.
Is it a pain in the rear to get a connection?
Well, yes and no. They have the air train that goes to all the terminals, but yeah, it's not the easiest in the world because you have to get on the air train, which is kind of like Dallas. If you've ever been at DFW when you have to get on the train to change terminals.
Yep, I have indeed.
Okay. All right. Well, it's similar to that. It's similar to that.
Yeah, but it's confusing. You've got to sit there for 2 minutes and look at all the different trains and tunnels. Denver is that way too, to a degree, Grant.
JFK is extreme. You have to be very alert with JFK because, you have hundreds of airlines that fly in there. And when you get on the air train, it tells you, it lists all of the airlines and what terminal they're in. But sometimes the walk, like for instance, the walk from the air train to the JetBlue terminal is like a full-fledged workout.
Wow.
And then there are other terminals where the actual structure, because of the way they built the train system, is very close. But if you go flying JetBlue and you get off the train, it takes forever to just get to the terminal. It's a long, long walk.
So Dorian says he's flying into JFK for the Knicks and Kings game. Awesome. Okay, this is a good one. Not going to recap the story. Peter Anderson, Rhino's traumatized from his trip back from Dallas to Sacramento. Ask Grant about his worst in-flight experience.
Well, it would have been with the Kings flying into Salt Lake City once where we thought we were going to crash. That was a pretty bad experience.
Oh, you felt like you were going to crash.
Yeah, but the other one was, I'll never forget it. The Giants played the Rams in New York for the playoffs. It was the Flipper Anderson overtime game where he just continued running all the way into the tunnel. And I had flown in from the West Coast. We were in L.A. playing either the Clippers or the Lakers, and I took the red eye for the game. And after the game, I'm on a flight from Newark to San Francisco and then San Francisco to Portland. First of all, I get on the plane at Newark, and they had on the monitor in front of me the WNBC Channel 4 news on. And I'm watching the highlights of the game that I was just at, and there was a play leading up to the Flipper Anderson touchdown that was a missed call. The Giants actually intercepted the ball where I thought Terry Kennard actually had his hands under the ball, and they said it was not an interception, saying that the ball hit the turf. They didn't have replay back then. So anyway, I was so upset that I walked all the way to San Francisco. Other than takeoff and the mandatory seatbelts, I literally walked up and down the aisles of the wide-body aircraft for 5.5 hours. That's how upset I was. I couldn't even sit down. No, I did not sit down. I just was so upset I couldn't even sit down for the whole flight. So I land in San Francisco, and my connection is to Portland, and we're en route to Portland. And to make a long story short, we were the last plane that landed. The airport closed as soon as our flight landed, and the approach was like a piece of paper in a hurricane. I don't understand how the pilot landed the plane. And I remember checking into the hotel that night, and I could feel the hotel moving and the wind howling. And I was sitting there in bed at like 2 a.m. going, I can't believe that we landed in this weather in Portland. That was probably the worst approach, the worst experience that I've ever had on an airplane.
Wow.
That was pretty bad.
You're going to laugh at me. I always share these embarrassing things. The fog in San Diego, how it gets really bad this time of year.
Sure. Same in Sacramento.
Yep. I stayed an extra day here. I came up for the weekend. I had a final the next day. So I took like the 9:10 out to San Diego, and we were warned that we might get diverted. And we started going into the clouds and then into the fog. And we were in there so long that you completely lost your sense of direction. And if you've ever flown into San Diego, you're in the middle of downtown. There's buildings around. And anyways, all of a sudden the plane accelerates, and I'm like, oh, this is it. Say my prayers. And then we pop through the clouds. And the guy goes, we had to do a certain something withdrawal. And I'm immediately trying to get to my dad. And I'm like, what is this? That's the scariest thing. He's like, that is the most routine thing ever. And I'm like, and what do? I'm being diverted to Ontario. Why are they taking us to Canada? And he looks at me. He doesn't. He's just, you're not.
He says, "Son, you're an idiot." That's what he was thinking.
That's exactly what he was thinking.
Right. Yeah. You're being diverted to Ontario, which is about 5.5 hours from there on a narrow-bodied aircraft that has enough fuel to maybe get you to the Nevada border. Good job right there. 100%. Oh, my gosh. I think I'm going to make a segue because I need to leave Ryan here without making any more stupid comments before he is destroyed by his father when he gets off the air. Hey, I want to talk to you about DAS Mechanical. Did you know that most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric? Here's the bottom line. It's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on energy bills. And I know you're saying, Napes, it's the holidays. It's the last thing I want to do. I get it. I understand that. But I want you to keep in mind, if your current heating and air system is 15 years or older, all right, it may be time to consider a change. Now's the time to get in touch with DAS Mechanical. Get it on schedule for January, February. Have them come out to your home or business and do a thorough exam, and they will walk you through every single step of the way and outline what you need or where you may not need. Again, call DAS Mechanical first. And remember that nearly all of DAS's work now is gas to electric whole system changeouts. And Nick Delancey and his team, they're awesome. They're experts. They specialize in this. They also have 0% financing and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned, family-owned. It's DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Go to dasmechanical.org. Look at all of their 5-star reviews, their numerous best of the best awards, and schedule everything online. That's dasmechanical.org. Your phone calls next. Your messages next. 916-779-0929 as we go to break. From 858, shout out to Rhino. Terminal 1 in San Diego is the good old Southwest days. Quick and efficient, 1-hour flight to Sacramento. It's about an hour and 15 minutes. Let's call it the way it is. We'll be right back.
Make Christmas epic with a new car or truck with one of Epic Cadillac's Christmas specials. Save big on all 2025 Cadillacs in stock. Optics, Lyrics, CT5s, or Escalades. Put the best in luxury, technology, and efficiency in your driveway. And make your Christmas epic during Epic Cadillac's Epic Days of Christmas. Epic Cadillac. Better inventory, better customer service, and the most epic Christmas deals in the area. Epic Cadillac at the corner of El Camino and Fulton. Have an epic Christmas. Epic Cadillac.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. Start your weekend off right with Bennett's Bubbles and Brunch. Every Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 2, enjoy 2 entrees and a bottle of Prosecco for just $49. Indulge in favorites like our Dungeness crab omelet, country fried steak, or eggs Benedict. Whether you're celebrating, catching up with friends, or just treating yourself, brunch at Bennett's is always the right occasion. Come raise a glass, your table is waiting. Reserve now at bennettsrestaurants.com. That's bennettsrestaurants.com.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant use disorder. Complex family dynamics, financial strain, and cultural expectations can weigh heavily and become a tipping point for those battling the physical and mental effects of addiction. But the holidays can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. They're a chance to take stock of what we have and are thankful for, to remember what's most important to us, and to consider what we can change. The holidays are a time of hope. So this holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the support and company of family and friends, and create special moments. Get started by finding a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org. That's choosechangeca.org.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from the good dudes at Gabrud's. 1. There's still time for Gabrud's to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabrud's are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabrud's has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
As we get back to sports, I do want to say this. A lot of you will be venturing to the airport and flying. Be courteous, would you please? Like, everyone's trying to get to where they're going, and everyone has their special holiday plans. And, take your time getting off the plane. Don't cut people in line. Don't try to move up two spaces to, get off 5 seconds earlier. And, just come on. It's the holidays, all right? Don't be a jerk, all right? You're going to get there. Don't worry about it. Now, I know you can be frustrated with delays and everything else. I get that. But just chill out a little bit. How about me, of all people, telling people to chill out, Rhino?
That means you need to, yeah, that's right. That's funny. But you do have a lot of good advice, things that people don't think about when traveling. So
the thing that bothers me more than anything when I travel are those that are in the middle to the back of the aircraft that have to get up immediately to get all of their stuff and try to literally get 2 or 3 rows closer before those in those seats get up. It's like, really? So you just moved literally 3 feet, maybe 4 feet, and there's 35 rows of people in front of you that are going to be getting off the plane before you. So instead of maybe being in row 37, you're now standing next to row 35. Like, what is the benefit of that?
yeah, it just causes traffic and
Exactly.
congestion.
It's a nightmare.
We better not talk too much about this. Zach, NBA guru, might put meter lights on planes.
Oh gosh,
we don't want that.
Speaking of the NBA, we talk about this Kings team. We talk about Portland. There's only one thing I want to see tonight, and I want to see Doug Christie do what he said he was going to do 2 days ago about the youth, the young players, and the player development. I want to start seeing it tonight. I don't want any excuses. I don't want to see Russell Westbrook playing 40 minutes. I don't want to see DeMar DeRozan playing 40 minutes. I want to see, I don't care, I want to see the younger players on the floor. Unfortunately, Devin Carter's not with the team, and I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense to me, but so be it. He's with the G League. But again, I don't understand that. I'm not a fan of that, but it is what it is. But I do want to see Reynaud play 30 or more minutes. I want to see Nick Clifford. I don't care how he's playing unless he's so bad. Get time. I want to see Keon Ellis playing 25 minutes tonight. That's what I want to see.
I want to see Keegan Murray play 40 minutes and play well. I want him to be an important part of the offense, and certainly he needs to make the most of his opportunities when he's open from beyond the arc. But this younger group has shown the propensity to be able to do a little bit more of what Doug wants them to do in terms of getting out in transition, creating opportunities, turnovers, deflections. Portland's 30th in the league in turnovers. This should be a game, especially with Portland's size, where I think the Kings should beat them significantly in fast break points and points off of turnovers.
And Portland has not been playing well either.
5-5 last 10. You know, they did.
Yeah, I mean,
they put up 136 in their last game, and they had 2 guys that scored 35.
Yep. They're a better team right now than Sacramento, obviously, and you look at their record, and they are 10-16. They're just on the outside looking in. They're 11th in the West, a half game behind the Jazz. But you said 5-5. I got them losing 7 of their last 10.
Oh, you're right. You are right. I was thinking of another team. Thank you for the correction.
No problem. I look at this Portland team. I always like to look at, you know how I like 5-game intervals, right? So if I look at their last 5 games, they beat Portland 136-131.
Wait, Portland beat Portland?
I'm sorry. Portland beat Golden State 136-131. They lost to New Orleans 143-120. They lost to Memphis 119-96, and they lost to Detroit 122-116, and then they beat Cleveland in the first game of this 5-game stretch 122-110. So they've been very up and down.
Yeah, we're gonna have Chad on from
Chad Dewing
from Rip City Radio up there at 5:00. But I would like to ask him, because the games that I've tuned into, Portland's been competitive for most of the games, and they either get down to the wire, win or lose by a couple points, or it gets away from them and they lose by 10, 12, 13, like you've read off there in a couple of those.
Yeah, I think the Kings are going to have a lot of problems tonight against this Portland team. I'm not forecasting much success, but I would like to see the Kings play the young players, and I would love for them to at least be in the game. So you talk about Portland, to back up your point, even though they're 6 games under 500, their net difference, their point differential is only minus 3.7.
Yeah.
Which is not bad considering you're 6 games under 500. So that pretty much illustrates your point.
Spot on. Thanks for the backup there. They're not hitting their potential yet, and their ceiling, it's not win a championship, but you know, they should be in the play-in this year, in my opinion. We've had that conversation.
I would agree with you.
But, they're trending up. They're just not a skyrocket. They're not going to take off this year, but they're doing the right things. Denny Advia is an incredibly fun player to watch on the perimeter. So can't wait to talk to Chad. And Drew Holiday, he's actually a guy that didn't want to go there, Grant, and he's kind of fitting in.
Yeah, he is fitting in. And you got Shaden Sharp. And I think the matchup, there are a couple of matchups tonight that are interesting. Now, Drew Holiday is out for the game tonight. He's got a calf injury. You will not have him on the floor. So we'll see how that impacts everything. Because when I look at the depth of this team, when I look at their starting five with an athletic team, that's what concerns me a little bit, Ryan. When I say concerns me, I'm not looking at winning or losing, but the Kings are still, to me, a very unathletic team compared to a lot of the competition they play.
I'm getting very close to saying they're the most unathletic team I can remember in my lifetime here in Sacramento.
Well, you're going to see an athletic team tonight for the most part.
Yes.
Compared to the Kings.
You definitely will. Seahawks, Rams getting ready to tip off. And I know we're going to talk a lot of basketball in the last hour. Who you got tonight, Napes?
I picked the Rams because of the quarterback position. In the back of my mind, I keep saying, now, wait a minute. Sam Darnold was horrible a couple of weeks ago in SoFi, threw 4 interceptions, many of which were terrible, and Seattle only lost by a field goal and had a chance at the end of the game. So, if I'm Seattle, I got to feel very confident going into this game, but I'm not a believer in Darnold against the Rams, so for that reason, I picked the Rams.
All right. You're going Rams.
And by the way, Devontae Adams in that game only had 1 reception.
It's a good point. It's a solid point. I'm not allowed to pick games, so I have somebody to pick for me.
Seahawks.
So there we go. I'm going. Liam is going Seahawks.
I love that. So you got a good chance.
Yes. He's 500 so far here at Fox.
Yeah, and then tomorrow we will have our 4 picks getting you ready for the weekend.
Can't wait. We'll get your picks as well out there. Chance to win a $100 Bennett's gift card. And we'll announce last week's winner as well.
Absolutely. That's all coming up tomorrow. Don't forget, we've got Grant's Rant coming up in a couple of moments, followed by Chad Dewing from Rip City Radio. We'll get his take on the Blazers, and then we will follow the game that's going to be kicking off in about 20 minutes in Seattle. And what a dandy of a matchup this should be with the Rams and the Seahawks. Can't wait for that one. It is definitely going to be fun to watch. I hate to keep harping on this. I just wish the game was on a Sunday or a Monday. I think we'd have a much better contest in terms of that. NBA tonight, if you're looking at the schedule on this Thursday night in the association, the Hornets are leading the Hawks. Did you see who's back for the Atlanta Hawks? They went 12-9 without Trae Young. They went 12-9. The Atlanta Hawks went 12-9 without Trae Young. And guess who's back tonight? Trae Young. And guess who's losing by 20 points in the first half?
No.
It's 71-51. Charlotte over Atlanta.
Charlotte?
Yes. Welcome back, Trae Young. Welcome back. Grant's Rant coming up, followed by Chad Dewing. We'll talk Blazers, Kings. All of that in hour number 3. The Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento.
I'm with Vince Bloom, the big deal guy at Folsom Lake Dodge.
Vince? Actually, this time of year, you can call me the Holiday Big Deal Guy.
The Holiday Big Deal Guy.
Because during the wrap-up-the-year sales event at Folsom Lake Dodge, you can save over $18,000 net savings off MSRP on a new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4.
I'll take it.
And for a stocking stuffer,
Keys to a Jeep.
a new 2025 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Sport S. Right now, I've got one for only $36,995.
That's why they call you
The Big Deal Guy.
So over $18,000 off a Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab.
And a Jeep Wrangler Sport for only $36,995. But you'll only find these big holiday deals at one place.
That's right, only only one place. At Folsom Lake Dodge in the Folsom Auto Mall.
But online at FolsomLakeDodge.com.
Ram includes 98.73 dealer discount plus 8207 in national stackable and holiday bonus cash. Then SN 667196. Jeep includes 4250 dealer discount plus 12750 in bonus national retail loyalty and holiday cash. Must be current owner of FCA vehicle to qualify for loyalty bonus cash. Then SW 543907. See dealer details expires 1/2/26.
If you're like most homeowners and can't remember the last time you had your heating system inspected, it's probably time. So right now, the Home Heating and Air Pros at Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort are offering a $79 complete heating and air system inspection. This is a very detailed inspection where Sierra Pacific's technicians go through your entire system, get it cleaned up, and then make sure it's running at peak efficiency. No need to worry about a heating system breakdown this winter. Call or visit Sierra Pacific online and schedule your $79 system inspection today. We also do complete HVAC system replacements. So if you own an older house that's due for a new heating and air system, talk to us. And if the cost of a new system seems out of reach, our finance team can work with you to help you get into a new, super efficient heating and air system this winter. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The Seahawks look every bit like a team built for February. They've got dangerous playmakers scattered across the field, a defense that hunts in packs, and an offense that can put up points fast. The question mark, Sam Darnold. His resurgence has been one of the league's great redemption arcs. A former top pick finally delivered on the promise that once made him a franchise's future. But football is a way of revealing truth under pressure, and that's where their concerns begin. Because of all the gaudy numbers, 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns last season, the Vikings went 14-3, but his biggest moments have brought out his worst football. 3 high-stake games, he's 0-3. Week 18 against Detroit, that with the division on the line, 9 points. Last year's wild card round, same story, and a 4-interception meltdown to the Rams earlier this season. The full body of work still paints him as a franchise quarterback, but once again, the bright lights shine tonight against the Rams. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
This holiday season, skip the same old gifts and send something that's truly unforgettable. From Heartland Steak Company, we're talking premium, hand-cut Midwestern meats such as USDA Prime and Choice Beef, all-natural pork, and tender chicken, all delivered straight to their door with care and convenience. Whether you're shopping for family, friends, clients, or anyone who appreciates bold flavor and quality meats, Heartland Steak Co. has something for everyone. Choose from Grill Master packages, holiday gift boxes, or freezer fillers, each one hand-picked, flash frozen, and packed to preserve unbeatable freshness and taste. It's the perfect way to share the true Midwest flavor this season. Ordering is quick and easy at heartlandsteakco.com. And when you order right now and spend $199.99 or more, you'll receive free shipping plus $25 off your order with promo code GIFT. Give the gift of flavor this holiday season with Heartland Steak Co. That's heartlandsteakco.com. And don't forget to use promo code GIFT. Taste the Heartland difference.
Grant's back. Join the conversation every weekday afternoon beginning at 3 p.m. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant.
Doing real quick, what's our rant tonight, Rhino?
Yeah, Grant, new Washington State football coach Kirby Moore was introduced to the media, and unfortunately, he didn't know what conference he's coaching in.
Moving forward, the time is now at Washington State to be the leader in the new Mountain West Conference.
Wow. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Seriously. They're not joining the Mountain West. It's part of the revamped Pac-12 conference. That's right. It will include some schools that are currently in the Mountain West. But again, you are not in the Mountain West. How embarrassing is that? Seriously, wake up, Kirby Moore. What a horrible start. You better be better as a coach with Washington State and the Cougars than you are with your press conferences. Good Lord. That's as bad as it gets. And that's my quick rant for today. Freaking embarrassing. Seriously. Chad Doing. I have been on his show many a times up in the Pacific Northwest. He does a great job on Rip City Radio, and he loves talking Blazers, Oregon Ducks, who have a big game coming up. Will they be able to win a couple of games and be in the national championship game? Chad, long time no speak. How are you, sir?
Hey, Grant, I'm doing really well, and I just want to say that when I got word and saw the news that you were back on the radio where you belong, I was really happy, and I just want to say congratulations, man. You're back where you belong, and you're one of the most talented people I've ever come across in the business, so I couldn't be prouder, man. Just keep up the good work, and it's awesome news.
Chad, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. Let's back up a little bit. What's been the mood of the Blazer fans since everything was turned upside down with the Chauncey Billups news? What was it like then? And the after effect, what's it like now?
Well, I think initially the news was shocking. And I think the reason why is because Chauncey Billups, ever since he took over in Portland, has been, a great part of the community. He's been a great communicator, and he's always been known as a stand-up guy during his playing career and then obviously as a coach. So I think Blazer fans were absolutely stunned when they found out he had been arrested after the opening night game against Minnesota. I think that what's happened is ever since he left, Tiago Splitter has stepped in, and he's got a great reputation around the league. And so with the work that he's done and the way that he's been able to work with some of the young guys on the team, even with all the injuries, I think it's helped to ease some of the anxiety of Trailblazer fans. But people are still in shock and just really disbelief to see Chauncey Billups' name caught up in that investigation.
Are the Blazers fans in general, and again, you talk to them every day, you've got the real pulse of the fans up there, are they on board with the direction of this Blazers team right now?
Yes, they are. I think they're on board, but I think what's happened is that, they had a few years where they were, in the tank mode and trying to improve draft position. And so the losses began to pile up, and with that becomes some apathy. Well, the problem is this year is they started out really good at 5-3, and you could see the makings of the roster and the versatility and the way they wanted to play with pace. But then they've had a bunch of nagging little injuries pop up. So guys like Matisse Thybulle, Scoot Henderson, Drew Holiday, all guys who have missed significant periods of time. And with that, you don't have the same type of team on the floor, and you can't play the same style of basketball that you had set out at the beginning of the year. So I think there's frustration because of the guys who have been in and out of the lineup. And with that, the losses have piled up a bit. The good news is that multiple guys, Thybulle, Holiday, and Scoot, are close to making a return. And when they do, they'll be able to play more of the style that they want. And I think people will be obviously in a better mood in terms of with the team. But I think it's just a matter of frustration, a culmination of things that's taken place because of the last few years. And there was so much promise at the beginning of the year. And with the injuries, I think that frustration has come back up to the surface once again.
Chad Doing in Portland, Rip City Radio, joining us here on Fox Sports Sacramento. So with that said, you would expect them to be at least a play-in team, would you not? I mean, they're only half game behind the Jazz. They've got 16 losses. Memphis and Golden State have 14 losses. Do you like their chances to be a top 10 team?
I do. I really do. In fact, before the year began, I had them pegged to be somewhere between 40 and 45 wins. And
wow.
The good thing is they've made it through the most difficult part of the schedule, and the schedule is going to ease up now. And if they get those guys back, Drew, Matisse, and Scoot, and I think they will here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, they're going to be just fine, and they'll be able to play a better brand of basketball. The good thing is when they had their guys, you could see the effort that they were putting in defensively, and I like the rebounding and the rim protection they give from Robert Williams III and Donovan Clingan. So I think they've got a chance to be a decent basketball team that can definitely be a part of the play-in, assuming those guys are able to make it back. But there is promise with the young players, especially guys like Tamani Kamara and his defense, Denny Avdia, who's been sensational. And they're getting great play from the veteran Jeremy Grant right now, who started out off the bench, but he's been starting of late. And so we're starting to see the makings of the young guys and what they're able to contribute. And I think that's where the promise comes from, is the young core.
Let's talk some Oregon football. This time of year, college football playoff. I mean, is that what the entire area is focusing on? Is everything right now about Oregon Ducks football?
Yes. Everyone is obsessed with the Oregon Ducks and the playoff. And I'll say this about, the team this year. I was just thinking about this today. Of all the teams I've seen, and they've had some really good teams over the years, I think this team this year, Grant, is better positioned to compete for a national championship because of the work that they've done to recruit and to get players in at the line of scrimmage, both on the offensive and defensive lines, particularly at the tackle position on the offensive line. They're terrific. They're very stout up front, on the defensive line, being able to get pressure without bringing extra guys. I think at the line of scrimmage, they can compete with anybody. And then when you throw in good coaching and a good quarterback, I think they can compete, and they'll be in a position to make some noise and, potentially looking at that second round matchup against Texas Tech But I really like where the Ducks are at. It's a competitive field this year, as you know, but I think Oregon's in a really good spot because of what they can finally do up front, competing with the other big-time schools like Ohio State, like Indiana, or Georgia up front, which is what you need to be able to do to win a national championship.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they're playing James Madison. I mean, listen, we know that the underdogs, upsets, we get all of that. I can't see any way in the world Oregon does not win this game. So I don't think you could have a better draw than playing James Madison if you're Oregon right now.
Well, of course. I think they're going to be able to go out. And my guess would be you'd be able to build an early lead and be in a comfort zone at halftime. And so now you can get other guys in that makes them be able to play. And so the chance of injury is less. And it puts you in a really good position as you move forward and get ready to take on Texas Tech. So I agree. I think the draw is good. And for the fans, this will be the first ever playoff game at home at Autzen. And I think we all know it's one of the best atmospheres in the country. So I'm just anxious to see how lit that place is going to be on Saturday when the fans get to roll in to see that first playoff game at home.
My problem with Oregon, and again, I don't follow the team like you do. I watch them, but you live there. You've got a pulse of the team. I'm just not a believer of them in the big spot. And this isn't the big spot, but as they move on, it just seems like year in, year out, we're talking about disappointment at the end of the year with Oregon fans instead of what they project and what they expect.
Oh, there's no question. And
Agree
I think
or disagree?
part of my concern, too, is with Dan Lanning, who I think is getting better on the job. But, when it comes to winning big-time football games, you got to be sound in situational football. You've got to make sure that, your decision-making when it comes to the analytics and when you go for it on fourth down is going to be good. And that sometimes it's better to live to play another down and make sure you don't get too aggressive. So, Dan Lanning is going to be up against it in those spots to make sure that his decision-making is sound to put his team in the best spot possible. Because you're right, the Oregon Duck history with the great teams they've had can be summarized as, disappointing because they get into the big spot and they come up short. And that's why this year I think there's a little more pressure because they finally have the guys up front that can compete. But now it's going to be a matter of situational football being sound because more than likely when you're playing Texas Tech or Indiana or Ohio State or whoever you match up with, it's going to come down to, 3, 4, or 5 plays to determine the outcome of the game. And that's what it's going to be.
The landscape up there, I've always found to be interesting. Can you rank, we talk about the Oregon Ducks, we talk about the Blazers. I've always thought, when the Blazers going good, it's a Portland Trailblazers town through thick and thin, and you get in a taxi and the driver's talking about the Blazers. They've got the radio on, they're listening to sports talk radio. You walk down the street, people are talking about the Blazers. But years ago, I was sitting at a restaurant and the Portland Timbers were in the MLS playoffs. And I remember talking to the bartender and he was telling me, you can't get a ticket to go see this match. You can't get a ticket to go see Portland. I go, what do you mean you can't get a ticket? He goes, it's the toughest ticket in town, and it's not even close. What is it like up there on the sports landscape? How do you rank the teams if you're going to say most popular, next most popular? Where is it in Portland? What's the trend? Where are we at? Help me out here.
I think right now with the current trend, Grant, I think Oregon Ducks football is number one, and that's largely because people are just football crazy. So I would say they're number one. The Trailblazers are always typically in the number one spot when they're playing well because, you have people, families that went to Oregon State, that went to Oregon, they're divided. So you've got a split fan base in the state when it comes to college, allegiances. Everyone loves the Trailblazers, but the problem is they haven't had a great team now for several seasons. And so I think people find interest elsewhere. So if I had to rank it right now, I would say it would probably be Ducks football number one, Trailblazers number two. I would put the Portland Timbers number 3, followed by the Oregon State Beavers. So I think that's the current trend in rankings in terms of sports importance in the area. But the Trailblazers, very similar to Sacramento, there's a special relationship between team and community that's existed since '77 when they won the championship. And because of that special connection, when the Blazers are good, they're always going to be top of mind. But lately, the Oregon Ducks have been right up there at the top, one of the best teams in the country. And with the recent play of the Blazers, the Ducks have taken over the number one spot for a time being.
I love it. Chad, it's great reconnecting with you. It's great to hear your voice. So happy that you're still killing it up there in Portland on Rip City Radio. And happy holidays to you, sir. I've always appreciated your support. Thank you very much.
Come on. And again, you're one of the best, man. So keep up the good work. And Sacramento is so fortunate to have you, my friend.
Thank you very much. Take care, Chad. All the best. Good stuff. Chad Doing talking about what's going on in the Pacific Northwest. We open up the phone lines, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Interesting that he had them at the beginning of the year going 40 or 45. I had them being much improved. I had them being better than Sacramento. I had them being a play-in, but I didn't have them going 45 or 40. Reiner, did you have them projected that high?
Not 45 or 40. I thought 40 would be probably top of mine ceiling to me. What about you? Was 40 okay to you?
Yep. That was my best case scenario. I thought they would be a play-in. I thought that they would be in at 10, and I still think they will. You know, it's interesting what he said, you know, about the injuries and everything else. I keep on talking about the athleticism tonight and how I think that is going to be an issue for the Kings. I think that is going to be the reason why they lose this game, and I think we'll be talking about it on the post-game show.
Yeah, they split the season series last year, and the athleticism was a problem last year. This team's gotten less athletic, and to a degree, Portland has gotten a little bit more athletic when they're healthy.
Yeah. 916-779-0929. Before we went to break, when we wrapped up hour number 4, I was giving you the score of the Hornets.
Hour number 4.
Or no, hour number 2, I was talking about the games coming up in the league. So before we went to hour number 3, all right, I was talking to you about Trae Young, was I not?
Yeah, and them being down 20.
Do you know that they gave up 80 points in the first half to the Charlotte Hornets? Trae Young's back after missing 22 games, and they give up 80 points to the 8-18 Charlotte Hornets in the first half. 80 points.
You obviously need a bigger sample size, but that's the knock against Trae Young. That is exactly it. And if he's taking a bunch of those minutes, and Grant, here's the other thing. You take one part away of a group of 5 that are flowing and playing together as a team, that affects all 5 of them. So when you throw Trae Young into that mix, it's just different. You're playing a different basketball game.
Yeah, the reason why I said before the 4th hour, in my mind, I was going to promote the 6 o'clock hour as we replay the first hour of the show. And so I'm doing too many things at once here. But I would say this. It is a small sample size. But what is not a small sample size is 22 games and how the Hawks played better without Trae Young than with him. That's 22 games is not a small sample size. And honestly, Ryan, I think there's a lot of, I don't want to say pressure, but the spotlight is really on him right now because of that. And he made a comment, which I thought was pretty interesting. He said, you know, I've sat back and I've seen some of the things that we do well, and I have to make sure that we continue to keep on doing those things. So he's aware of it, and he talked about it.
Hey, I respect that. That is how it should be. If the group is doing something well, you fit in. And instead of making them fit in, you've shared that story many times about Chris Webber.
Well, yeah, I think it's so apparent. When Chris came back after his microfracture surgery on March 2nd, the Kings had the best record in the NBA, and he didn't take that approach at all, didn't want to take that approach, and still felt he was the main guy and wanted to be the main guy, and that's the way it was going to be. And it was unfortunate because they were a 500 team the rest of the year.
Yep, very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Go ahead.
I was going to say, well, the reason I corrected you on hour 4, because I'm the guy that thought I was going to Ontario, Canada. I'm like, why am I not off already if we're on the hour 4? But anyways, do you think Oregon has the easiest path to the college football championship?
Because I think basically they have a bye in this week, because I don't think there's any way in the world that they could possibly lose to James Madison. And I know that college football is a sport of upsets, and we get that, but I don't see any way in the world that James Madison can go into Oregon and win that game. Like, I don't think it's possible. I don't even think the game will be close after the first quarter.
Shouldn't be close. No. Oregon's had problems in the past dealing with more physical teams. Indiana, great example. the year before, Boise State, who was in the playoff, but it's James Madison. And I think there's a rub, and we don't know it yet because it's only year 2, but I think there's a rub that a team gets from playing a home game in the first round. That is such a special environment.
Yes, it is.
Most
it's
of them night
crazy.
games, playoff, win or go home. It's really, really cool. I think that helps them a
Now,
lot,
I do believe that Texas Tech, who's got a bye, who's the 4th team, is a lot better than people give them credit for, because they talk about all the other teams that are in the top 4, the Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia. Texas Tech is kind of like an overthought. I think they're a lot better than people give them credit for, and I think that Oregon, Texas Tech coming up next week will be a really good game.
Yeah.
Really good game.
Yep. And I mean, there's not much to do in Lubbock. It's practice.
No.
Go to school.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're one of those people that do go to school, yes, that's correct. There would not be a lot to do there.
Lubbock is such a weird city. I don't know how to explain it.
I've never been to Lubbock, Texas.
We drove up or drove on campus, and it's one of those stadiums where the top of the football stadium is not that far off from ground level. I've never been there, but I've heard Dodger Stadium is similar to that.
Is Michigan, the big house.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. You walk up to Michigan and you're like, where's the stadium? You're like, that's the stadium? No, it's built into the ground.
Wow. I had no idea about
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, it's like the Yale Bowl was like that in New Haven, where that was a huge stadium where you're like, whoa. So, yeah, no, the big house in Michigan's like that.
You just blew my mind.
Oh, yeah. Go look at some pictures from the exterior of the stadium in Michigan. Just Google it. Look at the pictures from the exterior. It's like, you can't believe that. Wow, there's 100,000 that are in there. How could that be? But it's built deep into the ground.
Very interesting. I will check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We have got the NFL game that is underway with the Seahawks and the Rams, a huge, huge game in the NFC West. And it's unbelievable to me that the Rams, on their first drive, had the ball on their own 38 on a 4th and 1 and went for it and converted. So that tells you how Sean McVay is going to coach this game. First drive of the game, actually your own 39-yard line, and you're going for it on 4th and 1. How about that?
Is that Seattle on the field or the Oregon Ducks? I can't tell.
Yeah, no kidding. It looks like the Oregon Ducks. Yeah. I'm with you. I don't understand the uniforms that we see on Thursday Night Football sometimes.
The Rams aren't doing anything different. They're in the traditional ones.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
weird. The Rams have been running the ball well. They've had a really nice 1-2 punch the last couple weeks.
Well, and if they're able to run the ball tonight, they will win the game. They will win the game. There's no doubt. So we'll see. This is going to be an interesting game. And then don't forget, coming after the Kings and the Blazers will be on YouTube and X, the post-game show. Jerry Reynolds, Ryan at Sacktown, and myself, we look forward to that, the post-game show. That's going to be about 9:15, 9:30 this evening. Kings and the Blazers, and then they will do it again Saturday night in Sacramento. We'll come back. Phone calls, text messages, 916-779-0929. The Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento.
I'm with Vince Bloom, the big deal guy at Folsom Lake Dodge. Vince!
Actually, this time of year, you can call me the Holiday Big Deal Guy.
The Holiday Big Deal Guy!
Because during the wrap-up-the-year sales event at Folsom Lake Dodge, you can save over $18,000 net savings off MSRP on a new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4.
I'll take it.
And for a stocking stuffer,
Keys to a Jeep?
a new 2025 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Sport S. Right now, I've got one for only $36,995.
That's why they call you
the Big Deal Guy.
So over $18,000 off a Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab.
And a Jeep Wrangler Sport for only $36,995. But you'll only find these big holiday deals at one place.
That's right, only one place. At Folsom Lake Dodge. In the Folsom Auto Mall.
But online at FolsomLakeDodge.com.
Ram includes 9873 dealer discount plus 8207 in national stackable and holiday bonus cash. Then SN 6267196. Jeep includes 4250 dealer discount plus 12750 in bonus national retail loyalty and holiday cash. Must be current owner of SCA vehicle to qualify for loyalty bonus cash. Then SW 543907. See dealer details, expires 1/2/26.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant use disorder. Complex family dynamics, financial strain, and cultural expectations can weigh heavily and become a tipping point for those battling the physical and mental effects of addiction. But the holidays can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. They're a chance to take stock of what we have and are thankful for, to remember what's most important to us, and to consider what we can change. The holidays are a time of hope. So this holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the support and company of family and friends, and create special moments. Get started by finding a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org. That's choosechangeca.org.
Love it. The NFL with a virtual measurement. The Rams go for it again on fourth down, and they are stopped due to a virtual measurement. Technology in 2025, Rhino, you got to love it.
What's going to be the next technological advancement in the NFL? Are they going to put a little chip in the football so you know if it goes over the goal line?
There is a chip in the football, but yes, absolutely. The technology exists. Use it. So, yeah. Something else I'd love to talk about. We've been talking about traveling and flying. Have you ever, on the day of a game, flown either socially or for business or because you were at a game or coming from a game? Have you ever done that on a game day in the NFL that you recall?
I did not do it on a game day. I did it on a Friday, which was 2 days before the game, but the entire plane was full of 49ers fans headed to Seattle.
So what blows me away, doesn't blow me away, but I find fascinating is when you go to the major airports in America on a Sunday evening. And when I mean major airports, I'm talking about the airports where you generally fly in because it's a hub, whether it's Atlanta with Delta or you're going to Dallas on American, right? I'm talking about Denver with United. I'm talking about hubs, okay? When you go to an airport on a Sunday evening during the football season, it is unbelievable to me how many fans truly travel to watch pro football games. And I'm one of them because I used to do it all the time.
Yeah.
And I've always found it to be fascinating to see fans wearing their team's gear from all over the country. And sometimes I would go up and talk to them. You'd be in Denver and somebody was at the Bucs game. You'd be in Dallas, someone's making a connection being in Foxborough, or it's unbelievable. Not just one or two, like it's incredible to me how many people truly invest their time and money into going to a road game to watch their team play. And we've talked about this down in LA, right, Ryan, that when the Seahawks play down there, when the 49ers play down there, right? Look at the Raiders. They don't have home field. It's always full of the other team's fans.
Yeah.
It's incredible to me how many fans actually plan
their fall around traveling to games to see their favorite team play. It's amazing to me.
Well, football is a sport that if you have the means, it's feasible to go to every one of every one of the football games for your team, because it's not
if you
82
have the
games.
means. I mean, it's obviously not cheap, that's for sure.
For sure. That's the qualifier, but it's a reasonable number of games. And I know a lot of people that mix that into travel too. They go a day or two early and they explore the cities.
For sure. Absolutely. No question. I think a lot of fans do that as well. So if you want to talk about that, 916-779-0929. Now, I used to love being in the airports on Sundays after NFL games and seeing all the fans. I'm just like, wow. It was always a wow. So that was on a Friday, and the fan was full of the plane was full of 49ers fans, huh? On a Friday?
Yeah, it was a fun trip down. For as nasty as you thought that rivalry was, everybody that we ran into, it was so cool. Between the Seattle, seeing the natives when we were actually out and about versus the Niner fans, it was very playful and fun. You know what amazes me about airports? Doesn't have to be an NFL Sunday. Doesn't have to be anything special. Could be like 6 a.m. Somebody's sitting there drinking.
Oh, are you kidding me? Always.
Always.
It's unbelievable to me. Yes. Yes. Incredible.
And it's so expensive.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it.
The bars are always full. It doesn't matter. I mean, I guess maybe I get it if you're anxious about flying, but like as soon as the door opens, the seats are filled.
The only time I remember drinking at 6 a.m. was in college when I was still up and I hadn't gone to bed yet. And at the pub in New York on the weekend that the Rangers were eliminated in the playoffs.
That would be multiple 6 a.m.
Yeah, that was
right?
6 a.m. on Saturday and 6 a.m. on Sunday. yeah, that was back-to-back 6 a.m.s. That's exactly right.
It would have been a third if you guys didn't run out of booze.
Boy, I don't know if I could have made it. There would have been a lot of people passed out on the floor at the pub in Rye, New York.
Dorian chiming in. My girlfriend, can't talk, not like I have to talk for a living. My girlfriend and I started a tradition traveling to a different city and watching the Kings. We went to Portland in February and New York in January. We talked about that. But the Kings are terrible. Shake my head.
So Dorian, here's what I would do. If you want to save a lot of money and have a very safe, good experience, when you get off the flight at JFK, follow the signs to AirTrain. All right? Take the AirTrain to Jamaica Station. You can't miss it. They've got all the signs, and it will. When the train comes, it will tell you where it's going. So you get off at the end, Jamaica Station. You follow the signs, which is going to be about 100 paces to the Long Island Railroad. Trains are going to come every 10 to 15 minutes, okay? Go to the kiosk, buy your ticket to Penn Station. You can buy your tickets on the train, but it's more expensive. So just go to the kiosk, buy 2 tickets, one way. If you're traveling on a weekend, it will be off peak. All right. If you're traveling during the week and it's rush hour, it will be peak. The reason why I'm telling you this is it is a different price. So you're probably going to be off peak. Buy 2 off peak tickets. You'll be in Midtown Manhattan from Jamaica Station in about 15 to 18 minutes, depending on whether it makes a stop at Woodside and Forest Hills. Some are express trains, some aren't. Not a big deal. Train stops for 30 seconds. No problem. You'll get off right at Penn Station, which is underneath Madison Square Garden. You're right in the heart of New York City. So be a local. Let's go. Let's go, Dorian. If you want to do it right, you want to go to New York, let's do it the right way. Forget about the cabs, getting ripped off and paying all that money and being in traffic and waiting forever to go through the tunnel or over the bridge. Get the AirTrain, go to Jamaica Station. Then you get to the Long Island Railroad. Right there, it's connected. Get off at Penn Station because you have to get off because it's the last stop. And you walk up and you're right there at Madison Square Garden in the heart of Manhattan, Dorian. Let's do it, buddy. Let's do it.
Quick question.
That's the way you travel.
Quick question, and this for me was before Uber and Lyft. I remember walking out of the terminal, and I was planning to get a taxi, but there was a ton of just private drivers that would sit there. I don't want to say parked, but, oh, where are you going? We'll take you. And it's not a cab. Are those like reliable in New York?
Yeah, they are reliable, but they're more money. But yes, they're reliable. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't ever take a taxi, or very, very rarely will I take a taxi from JFK into Manhattan. Like, very rarely. The only time would be if I happen to have a lot of luggage. I might do that. But if I can take the air train, first of all, it is so much easier. Even Patrick, 631, totally agree, Grant. The Long Island Railroad is the best. It is. It is good. It's efficient. And it's easy. Very easy. That's the way to do it if you're flying into JFK. Forget about the taxi. Plus the cost. You're going to save yourself a lot of money. It costs $5 to take the air train. When you get off the air train at Jamaica, you go to the kiosk, you buy your ticket, boom, you go through the turnstile, walk about 100 steps. You're at the Long Island Railroad kiosk, buy your 2 tickets on the train. You're good. You're good to go.
I think
That's
taxis
what you should do, Dorian.
are extinct. I think taxis are pretty close to extinct in many cities. Probably, definitely not New York.
No, not New York. Good start for your Seahawks, by the way. Opening drive. I like what they did on the first play. Play action, Sam Darnold, easy completion.
Yep.
Get him in a rhythm. I thought that was a really good move by the Seahawks. Second play of the game, pass, quick throw, rhythm. 2 of 2 to start the game. I like that for a guy that had 4 interceptions a couple of weeks ago down in L.A. I like that.
And you got to like the momentum coming off of that stop as well. So I love it. Let's do it.
So a 7-0 score early. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Hey, folks, holidays are coming up, and the real estate market really is active. And if you are looking to get active in the real estate market, you're buying a home, looking for a home, maybe thinking about putting your house on the market, or maybe using the equity in your home for a home equity line of credit, I've got the guy for you. It's Spencer Grimmenstein at Village Financial Group. I've known him for 25 years. I love talking about him because he's really good at what he does, and he is a specialist when it comes to creative financing. And he has access to private money. You will be very happy with Spence. Give him a call or text him at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. And there are thousands of properties available right now, and you can check them all out in the area by going to their website, vfgloans.com. That's vfgloans.com. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. We'll wrap up the show when we come back, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. Looking for the best happy hour in town? Head to Bennett's, where every day from 2 to 6, you'll find flavor, fun, and serious value. Enjoy over 10 wines by the glass, country club-style cocktails like lemon drops, skinny margaritas, and crave-worthy share plates. Short rib tacos, chicken wings, calamari, and more, starting at just $6. It's upscale without the uptight. 3 locations, Roseville, Rockland, and Sacramento. Join us today or check out the menu at bennettsrestaurants.com.
The holidays are here, and Gabrud Services is here for any electrical need or emergency. Holiday periods put more stress on your home's electrical system, more activity, more lights being used, increased appliance use, and more. Here are 3 holiday electrical reminders from good dudes at Gabroods. 1. There's still time for Gabroods to inspect your home's electrical integrity. 2. Gabroods are the experts in backup generator installation with flexible financing options to make a whole house generator affordable. And 3. Gabroods has live call answering 24/7. We're here any time of day, especially in case of an emergency. At Gabroods, electrical work is all we do. And at the holidays, we're here to ensure your home and family are safe. Locally owned for more than 30 years. Call Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabroods.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Final segment on this Thursday. Seahawks and Rams in a pivotal NFC West game going up in the Pacific Northwest. Speaking of the Pacific Northwest, that's where the Kings are. They'll take on the Blazers, 7 o'clock. Post-game show, YouTube and X, at about 9:15, maybe 9:30. Jerry Reynolds, Ryan and Sacktown, yours truly. Looking forward to that. Busy Thursday. Get you into the college football playoffs on Saturday, the NFL on Sunday and Monday, and the Rams now first and goal, trying to tie the game at 7. Going to be a good game tonight. I think this is, I don't think you're going to see a lot of mistakes in this game. This is going to be, even though it's a short week, I mean, there's too much at stake for this game. I expect a clean game. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the final, because I think this game's going to be close when you get to the 5-minute mark. I think it's going to be close. I really do. By the way, hello to our friends in Serbia as they are listening to the show. Awesome. Love it. Said the biggest hello to our California friends from overseas in Serbia. Can you imagine going and celebrating the 50th birthday of one of the best friends, then hit the highway and listen to one and only Grant on Fox Sports California, then get home to see the NFL game of the season? And at the end of the great night, spice it with the Kings. And after the game show with Grant and Rhino, life is a beautiful thing. How about that from our boy Baki over in Serbia?
Baki's got to have a different hobby besides sports, too, right?
Well, it's not sleeping, that's for sure.
No, not sleeping. What's up, Bach? What's up, Tedora? What's up, all you guys? Hope you're having a good time.
Baki used to be a chair umpire in tennis.
I do. That's right.
Big tennis fan.
He knows his tennis.
Yes, he does. He does know his tennis. And we're getting ready for the Australian Open in a couple of weeks down in Melbourne, the first major of the year.
Summertime in Australia.
Yeah, hot. Summertime in Australia. Hot time of the year.
Watch out for the box jellyfish.
The what?
Box jellyfish.
I'd be watching out for the great white sharks if I'm going to be swimming in the waters off of Australia in the Great Barrier Reef in that area. I'm not worried about the jellyfish. I'm worried about the great white sharks.
A box jellyfish will kill you, my man.
Well, okay. I am worried about that then. Are there a lot of them in the waters of Australia?
Yeah, and then they eventually migrate towards, I believe, like May, June, towards Maui in the Pacific.
Okay, well, I've just decided I'm not going swimming if I visit Australia. I'll use the pool.
Might be a better idea. Yeah.
Mm.
You know what I miss? I miss
What do you
Jerry
miss?
Reynolds. It's been a while since we've all been together talking with Jerry. You start to get some Jerry withdrawals.
Yeah, well, that will change in a couple of hours.
Can't wait for it.
Absolutely. So that is coming on at 9:15, 9:30 on YouTube and X. So great white sharks. What's the name of the jellyfish?
Box jellyfish.
BOX?
Correct.
Okay. Box jellyfish. Can you see them in the water? Are they fairly large or are they very small in nature? Do you know the answer to that?
I do not know the answer to that, but what I do know is one of their tentacles fell off because they, I guess, shed them, and it landed on my arm in Maui.
Come on. Come on.
No, Grant, this is a real story. I had 3 what looked like half scar, half lacerations.
Come
on the inside of my arm, and it wasn't even attached to the jellyfish, my man. It was there for 6 to 8 months after that. And we were snorkeling. We were going out to Malachi, and we were not in the water for 2 minutes until it happened.
Oh.
And I had no idea. I had no idea what it was. I was screaming like a baby. Everybody thought I was being attacked by a shark.
How old were you?
I just graduated high school.
Wow.
Yeah. And so.
And I'm just curious, how did you know it was that type of jellyfish?
That's what the doctor diagnosed it as. When I went to, I had to go to Kaiser on Maui. They had a Kaiser. Said, yep, that's what happens.
What?
They lose their tentacles. Wow. They come around this time of year. And yeah, it was legit. It was the real deal.
What was the treatment like for that? Any type of treatment?
Don't start me. Are you looking at the treatment right now?
No. I was just asking.
Yeah.
Can they do anything for that? Is it
yeah,
like topical cream or
topical, but in the immediate, if you're out at the sea, vinegar is the preferred treatment if you have any on the boat. But if you do not, there is some literature out there that suggests, when you drink water and you got to use the bathroom, that should be
okay.
Put on
So did
right
everyone
away.
was everyone so scared that everyone got out of the water at that point?
Nope. I was just chilling on.
I would have.
It was a random tentacle. They didn't know what I
Wow.
didn't know what it was. The guy that was running the snorkel cruise immediately said it's a jellyfish for sure. And then he's talking to me about it, and my best friend overhears, and everybody's like, "Oh, we should do that." No, I'm just gonna sit here on the boat. I'm not gonna let you put anything on my arm. And yeah, it was ridiculous, Grant.
Oof.
Yeah, they look
wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. See, BJ on the chat, he's clearing that up of what you do to treat it. You want to get the tentacle out.
In all honesty, I grew up on the beach pretty much. I grew up on Long Island. And I don't ever recall at any point in my life, whether I was scuba diving, not off the waters of New York, but when I got certified and would scuba dive when I was on vacation, whether I was snorkeling in different regions of the world, I've never been scared. I was snorkeling in Fiji and saw a bunch of sharks well below me.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't bother me at all because I knew that there was nothing to be fearful of. I've never been scared once in the ocean other than a time that I almost drowned. I was pretty scared there.
That would be scary.
Actually, I was with my wife and George McPhee and his wife. We were in Kauai, and I am very comfortable in the ocean. I've always been very comfortable in the ocean. It's never scared me. But I went swimming in an area that I should not really have gone swimming in because it had a red flag and there were a lot of surfers out there. But I was like, I'm in Hawaii. I'm very used to the current and everything else. Long story short, I got caught in the riptide.
No.
And I got caught in the area where the waves break. And every time the wave broke, it tossed me around like a rag doll, where it was a hard force on the bottom of the ocean floor. And that happened a couple of times. And I was really getting fatigued and I was getting weak. And two things I've always remembered: don't panic. Don't ever panic when you're in the water, because a lot of people will die because they panic. Keep your mind clear and think. And at that point, I thought, okay, swim parallel with the shore. And I didn't have a lot of strength at that point. And I started swimming parallel to the shore. And eventually it got me into the shallow enough water where I could walk out and get onto the beach. And I am not exaggerating. I got out of the water and collapsed to my hands and knees. And my wife happened to be coming up and looking for me. She goes, "What's going on?" I said, "I almost drowned." And she's like, and I could barely talk. I was so out of breath and so weak. It was such a, and I was thinking to myself, had I panicked, I probably would have drowned. The surfers maybe could have gotten to me in time. I don't know the answer to that. They were not aware of the problems that I was having at that particular point in time. But I just remembered, okay, riptide, swim parallel to the shore, and the current will bring you into the shore.
And
I was so weak I could barely even swim.
You're a good swimmer. You swim regularly.
I am a good swimmer, and thankfully, because I'm a good swimmer, I was able to do that long enough. I didn't really have to swim that long. The current was so strong, and that once I started swimming with the, parallel to the shore in the right direction. You got to go in the right direction. It brought me in pretty quickly.
Wow. You're probably mentally.
But don't panic when you're in the water. That's the worst thing you can do is panic.
So check this out.
If you panic, you're in trouble. No, I always tell people, don't ever panic when you're in the water. Like, no matter how bad things are, no matter what, don't panic. Because the first thing that people, even in a swimming pool, don't panic. Keep your thoughts, you might say swimming pool. No, there are a lot of people that drown in swimming pools.
Yeah.
Just keep your composure. Don't panic.
It's good advice right
there. Don't
there.
panic. All right.
Really quick.
Yeah.
I got to get to the YouTube chat. Just really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have box jellyfish experts in here. The Athena channel. Box jellyfish have a venom in their tentacles that can sting and kill a person in under 5 minutes. Let's go to Rob Brown. Box jellyfish are clear. You can't even see them. I actually caught one in a fishing net in the Philippines. My first time there, so don't go swimming in the Philippines. I had a nodule. What was that? Okay, we'll move on from that. Box jellyfish appear in Maui's waters predictably around 8 to 10 days after a full moon. Our resident ER, not physician, but he works in ER, word for word, BJ Sal, pee on it. And
how many fatalities are there a year because of the box jellyfish? That's what I'd like to know.
Much more, I would think, in Australia than there are in Hawaii.
Okay.
Much more. But yeah.
So it's more or less just a really bad sting in Hawaii that can really mess your vacation up, but you're probably not going to die, correct?
It depends how well it gets you.
Okay.
And if it's attached to the jellyfish still. One last story. Rob Brown says, I almost got engulfed by a whole bunch of jellyfish. I thought he was going to talk about your story. Man, Grant, I'm so glad you shared that about a riptide. Those are terrifying.
It's I've been in riptides before, but not one where I got caught where the waves were breaking on top of my head. And so once you recovered and got back to the surface, another wave was crashing on you right away. So it's a matter of getting your another, inhale, get enough oxygen, hope that you don't hit your head on the bottom, and then you again come back up to the surface, and you hope that you got a couple of seconds to think about what you're going to do. And it was during that point, I think after the third or fourth time, that I remembered try to swim and go parallel to the shore. Somebody said, what coast were I? Was the West Coast, the North Coast, the East Coast, or South? I don't know where I was in Kauai, but it was where the Hyatt Regency is, if that helps. I'm not really sure what side of the island that's on, but that would help. Polar bears kill more people or more humans than those jellyfish you speak of. I don't know. I didn't know we were going to be talking about big game and fish here and things going on in the waters around the world of our seas and oceans. I wasn't sure that that's where the show would be going to today, but that's where we ended up. But I feel like it's still sports because I was talking about swimming.
100%.
Swimming's a sport, right?
Yeah, and it's a life story and lesson.
Summer Sanders, who I have so much respect for, that I got to know for her prowess in Sacramento with all of her Olympic gold medals. She would be impressed if she was listening to this story.
I would tend to agree with you. You have good judgment when it comes to this.
Yes, absolutely. The Kings, again, tonight, 7 o'clock, post-game show, YouTube and X. 49ers, big game, obviously, on Sunday as they try to take advantage of the loser of this game. Can't necessarily rule out the division, although it looks like a wild card. So we'll see how they fare going up against Phillip Rivers. We're going to have our picks tomorrow. We've got a lot of football this weekend, both college football and the NFL. The first quarter is in the books in Seattle, and it's the Seahawks on top 7-3 with the Rams driving. Should be a phenomenal finish. By the way, thank you to all of those that have reached out talking about the Susan Waldman interview that we had yesterday. As I said, she's one of my favorites. It was, in my opinion, a great interview, not necessarily because of me, but because of her. And I actually, after the show last night, before I went to sleep, I listened to it again. Because sometimes when you are conducting the interview, you don't really hear it as well as if you just chilling out and listening to it. And so I actually listened to it again last night before I went to bed, and I was like, wow, she's just amazing. She's just amazing. Amazing. All right. Someone says, Grant, the Hyatt is on the South Coast. All right. Well, that's where I was. I was on the South Coast. Does that mean the current was stronger? Or I don't know. I'm not familiar with the waters around Hawaii, particularly Kauai. And I would think that no matter where you are in the islands, the currents are different. Everything's different. The tides, everything completely different depending on where you are in the Hawaiian Islands. So, yeah, I'll never forget that. I'll also never forget that because that's the first time I broke 80 in my life golfing. George McPhee and I went and golfed at Poipu, the beautiful golf course right there. And I actually broke 80 legitimately with no mulligans and no anything else. And George was blown away at how well I played. So, yeah, I had a 79. First time I had ever broke 80 in my life at Poipu right there in Kauai, which I would have never broken 80 if I had died of drowning. I wouldn't have had that opportunity to break 80. So, fortunately, I recovered and was able to play golf the next day and play very well. Hey, don't forget the first hour replayed beginning in a couple of moments. Don't forget post-game show tonight. Looking forward to it. My thanks today to Chris Landry, Chad Dewing, and for Rhino in Sacktown. I'm Grant Napear. Thanks for joining us here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye.
At downtown Fort Sacramento, we're making our holiday list. Let's start out with who's been naughty this year. Well, we can't think of anybody over here at downtown Fort who's been naughty.
Imagine that. So let's talk about who's been nice. Let's see. We want to thank our service department for being the best in the business and keeping everybody's Ford running like new. We're grateful to our back office staff for keeping us organized and making sure we all get paid. A big thanks to our dedicated sales team. And we're also rather thankful to the Ford Motor Company for supplying all these cars and trucks. But most of all, we at Downtown Ford are thankful to you, our customers, who've been coming to us for their Ford cars and trucks for over 100 years. 2025 has been a year of many blessings, and as the oldest Ford dealership in California, we're looking forward to the next 100 years. We're Downtown Ford, online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need.